Engage the enemy.
하식스와 LG 울트라 기어가 함께하는 ASL 시즌 11 24강 C조 경기로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요, 이영경입니다. 지난주 시작한 ASL 24강의 1주차 경기, A그룹에서는 2명의 저그 선수들이, B조그룹에서는 2명의 테란 선수들이 16강 진출에 성공했는데요. 과연 이번 주 프로토스 선수들의 반격이 시작될 수 있을지 기대해보면서 경기 준비 중인 선수들과 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 자, 먼저 첫 번째 경기 출전을 앞두고 있는 도재욱 선수와 이영웅 선수 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 먼저 도재욱 선수, 지난 시즌 좀 높게 느껴졌던 16강의 벽이 드디어 허물어졌습니다.
네네.
이제 시즌 11에서는 또 하나의 벽을 좀 무너뜨리셔야 할 것 같은데요.
네, 이번 시즌에는 더 높게 올라오고 싶긴 한데 최근에 너무 경기가 잘 안 풀려서 좀 이상으로 좀 고비인 것 같긴 해요.
24강에 임하는 지금 심정은 조금 그런 긴장이 좀 되실 것 같네요.
긴장보다는 그냥 뭔가 잘못하면 질 수도 있겠다라는 약간 그런 생각을 갖고 있어요.
어떤 선수와의 경기가 가장 좀 머릿속을 복잡하게 만드나요?
아무래도 옆에 있는 영웅이가 경부형을 탈락시켜가지고 제가 좀
그랬었죠. 네.
부담스럽더라고요. 그게 좀 그래서 좀 부담스러운 것 같아요.
이영웅 선수, 도재욱 선수가 방금 말씀하신 것처럼 예선에서 굉장히 큰 화제가 됐습니다. 결승에서 송병구 선수를 잡아내셨는데 그때의 심정에 대해서 되게 좀 궁금해요. 그때 딱 이기고 나서 어떤 느낌이었나요?
그때 제가 이길 거라고 확신은 못했는데 근데 뭔가 느낌은 좋았거든요. 되게 잘 풀릴 것 같아가지고 제가 잘했다기보다는 운이 좀 좋았던 것 같아요. 네.
이영웅 선수 같은 경우에는 10전 11기 끝에 또 ASL 함께 하고 계시잖아요.
네네네.
11번째 시즌인데 참 쉽지 않았던 것 같아요. 여기까지 오기까지. 하지만 이영웅 선수 팀리그에서 보여줬던 경기력도 그렇고 이번 예선에서 보여준 경기력도 그렇고 좀 이번 시즌은 다른 느낌으로 경기에 임하실 수 있을 것 같은데요.
네, 요즘 그래도 열심히 꾸준히 하다 보니까 경기력이 조금 좋아져가지고 또 자신 있는데 또 조가 너무 힘들다 보니까 좀 걱정되긴 합니다.
프리그바에서의 경기가 또 처음이시잖아요. 경기장에 오니까 좀 어떠세요?
콜로세움이랑 할 때랑은 좀 달라서 좀 신기하고 좀 새롭게 느낌이 좀 들어가지고 재밌을 것 같아요.
이영웅 선수가 굉장히 좀 설레고 긴장된다면 도재욱 선수는 지금 11번째 시즌 한 번도 빠지지 않고 ASL 함께 해주고 계시잖아요.
네네.
그만큼 그 어떤 선수보다 굉장히 꾸준한 모습을 보여주고 있는데 그것에 대한 비결이 본인은 뭐라고 생각하세요?
아무래도 그냥 평소에 게임 스타일이 좀 기본기 위주로 하다 보니까 그게 뭐 꾸준한 데는 도움이 됐지만 오히려 높게 올라가는 데는 도움이 안 된 것 같아요. 그래서 이번에는 조금 더 과감하게 해볼 수 있으면 좋을 것 같아요.
이 두 선수의 경기를 앞두고 팬 여러분도 굉장히 궁금한 점이 많으셨는데요. 에스크 AS를 통해 팬분들이 전해주신 질문을 좀 전달 드려보겠습니다. 도재욱 선수 항상 대회 전에 폼이 좋았던 경우가 많은데 이번에는 좀 경기 전 좀 폼이 평소보다 좋지 않은 것 같아서 걱정이다라는 팬분들이 계셨어요. 컨디션을 좀 좋게 유지하기 위해서 좀 뭔가 필요할 것 같은데 이번 시즌 컨디션은 어떨 것 같으세요?
근데 항상 제가 평소에 잘하던 거하고 뭐 딱히 상관이 없이 그냥 뭐 결과는 그거에 비례하진 않더라고요. 그래서 최근에 제가 경기를 할 때마다 눈물 날 것 같아요. 너무 못해가지고. 근데
네.
이번에는 딱 24강 딱 뚫고 정말 자신감 찾아서 다시 한번 잘해보고 싶어요.
한번 좀 물꼬를 트면 또 한 번 도재욱 선수가 날아오를 것 같은데 오늘 과연 24강에 그 물꼬를 트는 계기가 될지도 좀 기대됩니다. 이영웅 선수께도 질문을 드려볼게요. 이영웅 선수가 10분까지는 이영호 선수 못지않게 잘한다는 이야기가 있고 또 작년 ASTL에서도 10분 이영호라는 아이디로 출전해서 또 좋은 모습을 보여주셨는데 오늘 경기 10분 안쪽으로 끝낼 만한 좀 전략들을 준비해 오셨을까요?
제가 10분 동안 뭐 잘한다 해서 뭐 이영호 선수 정도 뭐 하는 건 아니고요. 그냥 운이 좋았던 것 같고 저도 이제 10분에 넘어서 한 15분, 20분 잘할 수 있게 연습했으니까 보여드리겠습니다.
기대하도록 하겠습니다. 마지막으로 두 선수의 24강 경기 각오를 들어보겠습니다. 도재욱 선수?
제가 24강은 그동안 웬만하면 통과를 했었는데 오늘은 좀 쉽지가 않을 것 같아요. 도도 어렵고 제 경기력도 좀 정상이 아니라서 그렇지만 이제 오늘 통과를 하게 되면은 그래도 첫 토스 진출이니까 약간 좀 토스들 힘내라고 제가 한번 꼭 통과해 보겠습니다.
알겠습니다. 이영웅 선수도 한 말씀 해주시죠.
이번에 처음 이제 올라와가지고 되게 예선을 많이 치르고 했었는데 너무 이제 올라온 거에 좀 심취하지 않고 24강에 맞게 경기력 좋게 보여드리겠습니다.
네, 두 선수 인터뷰 감사드리고요. 멋진 경기 기대하겠습니다. 고맙습니다. 자, 이렇게 해서 24강 C조그룹 첫 경기를 준비하고 있는 도재욱 선수와 이영웅 선수와 이야기 나눠봤고요. 자, 두 번째 경기하고 있는 선수들도 만나봐야겠죠. 김성대 선수와 정영재 선수 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 먼저 김성대 선수 지난 시즌에 이어 이번 시즌 역시 예선에서 1일차 예선에서 단 한 번의 패배 없이 이렇게 본선에 또 올라오셨습니다. 좀 좋은 컨디션을 유지하고 계실 것 같은데 24강 앞두고 있는 지금은 어떠신가요?
우선은 근데 조가 전체적으로 저희 조가 좀 빡세다고 하더라고요. 그래가지고 걱정은 많이 했는데 근데 원래 옛날에 비해서 이제 24강 조 중에서는 뭐 어려운 조라고는 생각 안 하기 때문에 꼭 올라가겠습니다.
정영재 선수 오늘 경기 기대하고 계시는 분들이 정말 많습니다. 또 어느새 5시즌 연속 ASL 함께 하고 계시는데요. 매 시즌이 거듭되면서 좀 본인의 성장을 좀 피부로 느끼시나요? 어떠신가요?
조금씩 올라가고 있는 것 같은데 저번에 16강이니까 이번에 8강을 목표로 해놨거든요.
8강을 목표로 시즌 11을 준비하고 있다. 굉장히 좀 그럴 수도 있겠다라는 생각을 많이들 하실 것 같아요. 지난 시즌 24강에서 김태경 선수를 꺾었던 거, 그리고 ASL 시즌 2에서 또 준플레이오프 경기에서 좋은 모습을 보여주셨기 때문에 그것에 걸맞게 팬들이 많은 기대를 걸고 계시는데 이 기대에 좀 부담을 느끼거나 그러시진 않나요?
부담 느낄 정도로 그렇게 기대를 하시는 것 같진 않아요. 그래서 오늘도 좀 편하게 할 거고요. 잘 준비했으니까 잘 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
기대를 안 하고 있는 팬들에게 그 기대 이상의 뭔가를 보여줬을 때 또 그 짜릿한 성취감이 있을 것 같아요.
그렇죠. 원래 저번에도 기대 안 하셨을 텐데 잘해가지고 되게 놀라신 것 같은데 전 그런 걸 되게 좋아하거든요.
자, 오늘 역시 좀 그런 모습을 기대해봐도 좋을 것 같은데 김성대 선수는 지난 시즌 16강에서 조금 아쉬운 모습이 있었습니다. 이 패자전에서 도재욱 선수에게 또 패배를 당했던 기억이 있는데 오늘 공교롭게도 또 같은 조에서 24강 경기를 펼치게 됐거든요. 도재욱 선수에게 좀 대갚아주고 싶은 그런 마음도 있으실 것 같아요.
네, 사실 저번 시즌에 뭐 자랑은 아니긴 하지만 별로 의욕이 없었을 때였어가지고 사실 저번 시즌에 대한 기억이 많이 없고요. 근데 오늘은 어쨌든 간에 이제 재욱이 형이랑 만날 확률도 높아질 수도 있는데 꼭 오늘은 이제 복수하도록 하겠습니다.
네, 양 선수에게도 에스크 ASL을 통해 팬 여러분들이 남겨주신 질문을 좀 전달 드려볼 텐데요. 먼저 김성대 선수, 이 지난 시즌 10까지는 여수에서 서울로 올라오면서 아무래도 컨디션 조절이 조금은 힘들었을 텐데 이제 상경한 이후 처음으로 맞이하는 시즌이시잖아요. 좀 어때요? 오랜 시간 이동했던 것보다 훨씬 더 좀 체력적으로나 좀 비축이 되는 부분이 있나요?
더 확실히 제가 여수에서 이제 왔다 갔다 할 때는 몸 상태가 너무 안 좋았는데 지금은 사실 컨디션 자체는 제일 최고고요. 그래가지고 게임만 잘하면은 올라갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
알겠습니다. 자, 다음으로 정영재 선수에게 남겨주신 질문인데요. 정영재 선수의 별명에 울보테란이 있잖아요.
네.
근데 그게 사실 정영재 선수의 플레이 스타일과는 좀 무관한 별명인데 본인의 플레이 스타일에 좀 걸맞는 별명을 하나 갖게 된다면 또 좀 원하는 별명이 있으실지도 물어봐 주셨어요.
그거는 팬분들이 지어주시는 거니까 저는 딱히 생각해 본 적 없는 것 같아요.
그럼 본인의 플레이 스타일의 강점은 개인적으로 어떤 거라고 생각하시나요, 정영재 선수?
매우 공격적이다?
공격적이다.
나쁘게 말하면 급하다?
좀 승부사 기질이 있는 정영재 선수의 플레이 스타일인데 아마 이번 시즌 멋진 경기로 또 하나의 별명이 탄생하지 않을까 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 두 선수 마지막으로 각오를 한 말씀씩 들려주시죠. 김성대 선수.
우선 오늘 이제 24강에 임하게 됐는데 꼭 올라가가지고 좋은 모습으로 16강에서 다시 뵐 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
네, 정영재 선수도 한 말씀 해주시죠.
조가 좀 힘들긴 한데 저번 시즌은 운이 좋았다면 이번 시즌은 실력이 좋아서 뚫을 수 있도록 한번 해보도록 하겠습니다.
네, 두 선수 인터뷰 감사드리고요. 멋진 경기 기대하겠습니다. 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
하식스와 LG 울트라 기어가 함께하는 ASL 시즌 11 24강 C조 경기 과연 어떤 선수들이 16강에 출전할 수 있을지 지금부터 C조 그룹의 경기를 만나보시죠.
Hell yes! ASL bitches, we're back. It's Group C, and I am very excited. We're going to be casting one of my favorite players best to start things off.
Oh yeah,
And,
one of my favorite too.
Yeah, I think everybody's a best fan. He's got a very cool way to play the game. And I actually think he's in the best condition yet.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. He is at tip-top form right now, and I definitely think he is, in my opinion, he's the strongest Protoss at the moment. I feel like Snow is not playing as well as he was a year ago.
Snow was the guy who seemed to be bending all the rules for Protoss, especially when there were plenty of strong Terrans such as Flash, and he seemed to be the only guy that could take him on, but Flash isn't in this tournament. Best lately, you know, in between season 10 and now here we are in season 11, he's played a lot of show matches in the evenings out here in Korea. He's had a bunch of great games. He's been holding his own against Flash consistently.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
He's doing really well overall with that, absolutely. And you know, I think he's definitely heavily favored just in general in this season. I know that Best doesn't have a championship yet, but I think he's going to eventually.
I think it's coming. Maybe this is his season. I don't know.
If you play forever, eventually, you know.
Yeah, one would hope so, but I think most of the time that's actually not the case. I mean, we've got so many good players.
Don't tell me that, Tastosis.
One day our chance is going to win his ASL. Dude, I'm really looking forward to this. You know, it's been so good to be back here casting ASL again after we found out that the official English broadcast would be canceled. We made a Patreon. You guys have been supporting us. We really appreciate it. We're so glad that we can now keep the history of StarCraft 1 alive. If you guys do want to go to that Patreon, it's patreon.com/ASL English.
That's right. And taking a look at our groups so far, of course, in Group A and Group B, we've already casted these, so definitely check those out if you have not yet. But we had Hero and Effort advance, the two favorites from Group A, and then Group B, Royal and Light advance. Not the order I was thinking, but definitely the two players I was thinking would advance. And for today, I think that this is going to be a slightly more contested group, but I'm thinking, looking at this Tasteless, Best and Action to me are a step above even JYJ.
Yeah, I think this is one of the easiest groups to call here. I mean, Action is such a monster. And I think one of the greatest circuits we've ever had in StarCraft. But Best is looking to perhaps be the favorite for this tournament, some might say.
One of the favorites, yeah for sure. And honestly, I think, though, JYJ you should not underestimate coming into this.
I agree with that.
He's really strong. Speed, if Speed can win a map, that's really impressive for his first ASL. That's like super, super impressive. Obviously, he's really good to even be here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, being an ASL level player is a feat of its own. I mean, you got to think of how many people are playing StarCraft out here. And StarCraft 1 is still extremely popular, especially on the Korean server, of course. But the fact that he's even in this group right now is insane. But again, I just feel like this is a very top-heavy group.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's got some killers in it. A couple of players that like always make round of 8, basically. So that's going to be hard to get around. Now, here is Best, and you can see he has overall winning rate in ASL. I feel like he underperforms almost every season. Like, he'll do things like make the round of 8, and then just die there when, realistically, he's better than his opponent.
Are those Nike swooshes, or does he have gills?
Oh, my God. He's the Deep from The Boys.
That's right.
Look, I would think he's beautiful no matter what, okay?
That's right.
I'd stick my hands in those gills. As
a Protoss player, I just want to attach myself to his gills and live off of him vicariously.
You would be his Remora.
That's right. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, Remora. Very good, Artosis.
I know my fish tastes.
Yeah, that's why you're here, is you know all the animals. You're good at animals, and I can host a show.
Yeah.
And here we are. With Speed. Do you have a lot to say about Speed? I don't feel like I know this player. I feel like I know this player the least out of all the players in this tournament.
Well, just looking here, the round of 4 in his qualifier, he knocked out Iris, and then in the finals, he knocked out Stork. So he's the reason Stork's not here, which is kind of funny. But Speed, I think that this guy is Prime, aka Prime. I'm pretty sure looking at his name. Guys, we've been staying off of Liquipedia and everything to make sure we don't have any spoilers. So
yeah,
I couldn't double check, but I'm pretty sure that he's that Terran, which means he's someone that plays in the qualifiers for every single thing every time and goes pretty deep, but hasn't been able to beat those pros. But this time, winning against Stork in the finals is no easy feat.
No, I mean, this is exciting to have him here, and if he's done that, maybe he can do this. We're gonna find out. We are about to hop into this. Again, it's going to be a best of 1. The map is Eclipse. We were mentioning this in day 2 of the cast, but a PvT on Eclipse, there's a lot of things Protosses can do, from gas deals to proxy gates to both of those to anything. So let's see how ready our Terran is. We are hopping into game 1. It's best versus Speed here in Group C of the ASL.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, looking at his name and the ID thing, we need another player that goes by Hero, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, would you agree that we don't have enough pro gamers named Hero?
So what are the IDs that are just used too often? Hero is absolutely
Hero
one that
is
should be
the
avoided.
number 1. Dragon is very high up there.
Dragon. Yeah, Dragon gets a little bit, or something Dragon, something Dragon-ish.
Fire Dragon. Ice Dragon.
I feel like there's more than this, though.
Yeah, no, there's a few. They'll come to us. Tasteless.
Tasteless. Everybody's naming themselves Tasteless. It's like, can you have any originality?
Actually, Tasteless, I saw someone that had your ID. There was like some low-level pro gamer from like Italy or something that was named Tasteless.
Oh, is this a Counter-Strike player?
Something like
somebody
that.
who played Counter-Strike.
Something like that. I can't remember, but it was
somebody was trying to dig up lore on me. They're like, "Oh, you didn't even know Tasteless also played Counter-Strike. It's so cool." I'm like, "That's not me. It's not me."
Should have taken it.
Yeah, I should have just assimilated that into
The
my
legend of
history.
Tasteless continues.
Yes, that's right.
He was both playing and commentating this event, 2 different games.
That's crazy. So this game, we have a very early probe sent out across the map. This screams gas steal.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is going to be a gas steal, but no proxy gate. I'm not too surprised that Best is going to skip the proxy gate. Things can go wrong if your opponent has a strong counterplay. Now, look at what Speed has done here. He's leaving an SCV on the ramp.
It already didn't work.
Yeah, he's blocking the probe. You don't have hold position at the beginning, right?
No,
Because
you got to spam stop, so he gets the gas steal. This is terrible for Terran now.
Yeah, the fact that he tried to hold the ramp and then did not shows me that he wanted to get his gas, and then it just didn't work out. And yeah, when you're investing that little bit of extra economy for that makes it that much more painful when they actually do get the gas.
An SCV will beat a probe in a fight, but the probe's got a little bit of range, and actually blocking a ramp with an SCV versus a probe is one of the, I think, the harder things to do as Terran.
It's incredibly hard. I don't even ever try it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think most people, it's advised to not even try it. I mean, that was actually pretty easy for Best to do, and I think even a lesser Protoss could have actually navigated up there.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you're losing an SCV for mining, which is a big deal in StarCraft 1.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world here to get offensive gassed. Everyone has been offensive gassed on this map like 1,000 times, and if you really don't want to be gassed, you can cancel an SCV and make it when the probe gets there, which he didn't do. So clearly he's comfortable enough with it, because this is the one thing. In fact, Tasteless, when I don't get offensive gas on this map, I get a little bit confused. I'm like, wait, how do I normally play?
Yeah, right.
Because my mindset is so in the I'm getting gassed.
I mean, I think it's still a strong technique to do to Terran, but you're completely right. I mean, this is something Terran players are pretty good at handling nowadays, and this follow-up, I think, is quite strong. This is actually why I personally don't go for Nexus anymore with the offensive gas and going to gas.
Because people are eBay blocking.
People are just eBay blocking. It's like, I'll play into that a little bit here. The Zealot's going to come. The Bunker's going to finish just in the nick of time. But let's see how many hits this can get off of the Marine. It does not do any. He does run, though, inside the main.
Yeah. And you're going to have to micro a little bit, but his building layout is perfect here. He's really not going to be afraid of the Zealot, honestly. You have to click a lot. You have to be quick, but 3 Marines can absolutely out-micro and kill a Zealot. And then you have the Bunker, so it's fine. even if you lose a lot of health on it. So he has made his command center, just like the Nexus is going down for best. Takes his gas now. And honestly, Tasteless, like, you know, this is just a position because Eclipse, this is the second season in a row it's been in the map pool. I think every Terran has a lot of practice against this.
Yeah, this is a very tried and tested map. I think it's actually one of the better maps we have, though, in StarCraft 1 right now. He is going to try to chase this SCV down, and things are being slowed down right now for speed.
Yeah, but I think his micro's been really, really nice. Like, he's still dodging in the main. He's taken, like, no hits from that Zealot. This one at the natural we just saw, he totally ruined it, right? Like, it ran in and then just had to run out. It didn't get the SCV or anything, or barely slowed him. And honestly, I'm looking at this, and I think that Speed's opening here has been flawless. Like,
yeah, I think he's handled this very well. I think you're completely correct on that. He's handled best build so far, but, you know, the build that came from best, it's not hinged on, you know, you don't have to screw them up entirely. I mean, it's a bit of a tightrope walk to try to navigate a gas steal early on. But honestly, he's handled it fine. The game's going to go on like normal. I find this interesting. Okay, so quick Citadel of a Dune. He's going to do some DT pressure.
Yes. And so we see two factories being made. So the thing is SCV got up the ramp enough to see that it was 2 gates, right? That's a very important piece of intel, because sometimes you'll see this like 1 gate into quick Reaver. So right now he can rule out super fast Reaver, because obviously Best got his Gaslight as well, and you see the 2 gates, and you're kind of like, okay. The first thing that comes to mind when you see 2 gates is ranged goons, and the very next thing is DTs. So I think that Speed, like, I mean, he's a better Terran than I. He's in ASL, so there's no question that those 2 things are on his mind.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the DT doesn't actually have to do damage.
Right? No, I don't think so. I think it's actually a DT drop. I was curious about this, because when I saw just the Citadel, I thought, doesn't seem like a DT pressure build would be that good. But
dude, this is trendy right now.
Really?
Yeah, I've hit this a few times lately on Eclipse, where people are stealing gas, going Nexus, and then going DT drop. Because normally when you get your gas stolen, you get such a surplus of minerals, and your gas is so late that you don't feel like you can go Academy, so you normally make a turret. But the turret you only make at the front.
Okay.
You don't just blindly make like 4 of them. You know?
Don't make a ring around your base at all. Yeah. Even though Reavers are so popular now.
Well, you might make 1 near the CC or something. The thing is, you only need to find 1 little area that isn't covered from a turret, right? And then the DT also slows you down. You don't have scan, so you can't attack. I think it's a solid continuation here.
It makes sense. You know, the DT drop, obviously you need to be very careful with the shuttle, not to lose the DTs, not to lose the shuttle, but you can really slow down a push with this too. It's not one of these builds where it seems like it could be risky. A lot of DT play can be countered pretty heavily, but a DT and a shuttle, first of all, you can just hit the SCVs making turrets endlessly if they do push. But even if they don't, if they push out, you drop, and when they do have a scan, you pick it back up again. And a lot of times this pairs well with Arbiters later on.
Oh, absolutely.
This is
DT drop into 2 base Arbiter, I think, is actually a very strong build, because even if the DT drop does nothing, 2 base Arbiter is basically the safest build. It's like so hard to kill that as Terran.
Yeah, well, also it's very straightforward. You're going to have a lot to work with on the 2 bases. The DTs can drain scans from that.
Exactly.
And, you know, a lot of times a Terran can just lose a game because they have a fight where they needed to scan. Oh, wow, look at this drop ship.
Yeah, no, the drop is a very cool counterplay here. So it almost feels like he's anticipating what might be occurring. And since the starport's blinking, you know that is a Wraith.
Yeah.
So the Wraith is going to be amazing. He's making extra turrets. His timing is so precise. Look at this. The turret's literally finishing as the shuttle comes in.
And the problem is that a shuttle without speed cannot outrun a Wraith. I think actually Wraith
even
can still
with
catch.
speed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it still can catch that no matter what. So he can try to kill these depots here, but this shuttle's not going to be able to get out in one piece. It's going to be picked off very quickly here.
Yeah, he will kill the shuttle, but you know what? This is slowing him down. He's supply blocked at the moment. He's going to get more supply blocked. The DT, it's forcing some more turrets. There are good things about this, but it definitely isn't doing what Best hoped.
Here comes that dropship now, headed up towards the natural. Wow, he's going to get another depot and supply block him. But how ready is Best for this drop? Very quick reaction speed. Actually, oh, this mine!
Ooh, you never know.
Yeah, you got to be careful for that. He does have 2 more Dragoons here. It seems like they're kind of actually boxed out from protecting the probes. He's walled himself out.
SimCity maybe not as good as he thought.
Yeah, that was kind of a funny moment there.
And he targets some probes down. Not a lot of damage with this drop. He does get the drop ship out, which I think is really important, and he gets a full scout as to what the tech is.
Right.
But he has lost a lot of depots, right? And that's kind of annoying. And it looks like he's going to go for a 2-base play.
I believe you are correct. He's going to power up on those 2 bases. Now, the Arbiter is going to be coming here in just a second. The probe transfer at the 3rd, not bad. He needs to get a few more over there, but he's in pretty good shape right now. We're now going to go up to, what is that, 6 gates? And he can get a few more in a little bit here. But really, this is going to be about whether or not you can combat the, the Arbiter tech as the Terran and do some real damage. This is not a game that can go on for very long unless some circumstances begin to change here. Best has not scouted and confirmed that there's a bunch of factories there. If he sees that, it's going to be very clear what's happening. This is also not a game from the Protoss's perspective where you need to get a 4th base right now.
Oh no,
you actually just want to win a fight.
If you win a fight here, you're gonna take the game. I think is best, right? He's got his 3 bases and he's got insane tech. He's got his observers out as well as Arbiter on the way. So I like where he's at, but the cool thing about what Speed is doing here is he has a dropship out. So the dropship could do damage, or like another scenario is that Best runs everything over to deal with the dropship, or has some units out of position, then the push does a lot of damage itself.
Really good control here onto the high ground. It's important that you control one of these 2 positions here, and I can't believe he's actually
oh my god,
forward.
he's gonna smash this.
Yeah, I think Protoss is about to win on 2 fronts immediately.
Yeah,
and this I think may just be the game here. I mean, Best is really doing a great balancing act here of just making sure that everything that he needs to have up is where it is, and he basically stopped the push. He stopped the drop.
Yeah,
it's a cakewalk here for Protoss.
It really, I would tend to agree with you there, and especially considering he only has 1 add-on right now. He's adding his 2nd add-on, but he has like 1 siege tank, which means he has no power for pushes. There's defensive cannons in the 3rd base, which is the only one he can really hit right now.
And not only that, but like this isn't a game where the Protoss is that fearful of vultures. A lot of times when you lose those fights, okay, this is exactly what I was talking about. The Terran will try to swing the game with vultures coming into various areas and catching them. And if your defense is just average, you're going to shut this down at every turn here.
Yeah. Well, the cannons are going to help that so much, and it's really important to see.
And they're coming up now. Don't know if this mine's going to actually be set off here. He's going to kill a couple probes, but I saw this video a while ago that Flash was talking about this. Basically, that you want to be really careful setting your vultures out too much in games, because even though it looks like it's really good and you're going to kill their probes, you're probably not killing any army. And even if you get their probe count down very low, they're going to run over you with your actual push, and that's always how you lose the game. And I understand that right now Speed has to come up with something, but I don't think he's getting himself in any better position by sniping some probes.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing, though. I think it's, in this case for Speed, I like it because he lost all his tanks. It's actually going to take him so long to get enough tanks to attack again that if he never spent vultures, for instance, he would have like 6 groups of vultures and 1 group of tanks. So, like, I think it's okay to spend some right now and try to keep Best busy. But look at this. Best is up over 50 supply right now. This is very tough for Speed. This is his first game in ASL, man. He's playing Best, and Best is, like, he's macroed like a beast.
Yeah, I actually...
They should be Beast, not Best.
I think this is actually going to be a game where the cloaked Protoss army is going to come in here and step on top of the little forward position that Terran has right now.
Dude, look how far back he is right now. He's, like, so afraid of this push. Okay, well, flies there. Oh, he does get the double tanks.
How did that one get stasis down there? That is crazy. All right, so, again, this is just... this is rough, man. I mean, Protoss can basically take this fight all the way on top. You can actually come down here onto the natural. There's just 2 tanks up in the main, and I think this is going to be GG.
Yeah, just about. Even getting the Zalt's just like right-clicking them up there. He's going to kill every single tank. There's nothing left for Speed.
Yeah, the dropship's going to fall here as well. And I mean, that's it. That's game. And we're seeing why Best is really considered to be in his very best form right now. And, you know, from A to Z, Best played an extremely good game. Even that DT drop, not doing that much, you know. This is too much here.
Yeah, you know, even just getting the depots that he did, he slowed him down a little bit. The follow-up push didn't do anything like Best, just simply had enough units. I mean, I don't mind the strat that he chose, but like I said, it's so hard to push down a 2-base Arbiter opener with 2 bases as Terran. It generally doesn't work. They just slow you too much.
Right, and I think, look, the drop ship play was pretty poor, as was the push. I mean, he wasn't really on top of what he needed to be on top of here. Best won both fights pretty easily. We're just kind of sitting here waiting for Speed to digest this loss because there's just no way. Best continues on with his growth on the map, actually expanding towards the bottom right. Rally points of units are coming out here for Protoss as Terran is just, I think, never going to have enough tanks for the Protoss to need to respect him.
Yeah, as soon as you lose the first bunch, that's like, it's so hard to get another bunch up at that point. Later in the game, maybe it's a little bit easier. You can get multiple add-ons as you have more gases and everything, but it's been a tough game throughout. And Best he's like just finishing it off correctly. Notice how he's not suiciding the rest of his army. He's taking his 4th. He's macroing up again. You know, you never want to let the Terran get too cost efficient or anything, and he's playing out cleanly.
Yeah, these vultures are going to try to come up here. Great pylon wall in.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing you can do.
These are the types of moves like you mentioned, right? If Terran gets behind, if things aren't working, you kind of fall back on, I hope my vultures can find magic.
Yeah, I hope that he has no cannons in one of his bases, and there's lots of probes there, too. Terran's now going to try to push up over into the 3rd base and reclaim that throughout this chaos of this game, but I believe there should just be way too much for Protoss. We just don't see the end of this line of Protoss units here.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to start running in. I mean, there's some mines, there's a good amount of vultures, but it's just not a big enough army for Terran. He's doubled the supply.
Just too strong, and he comes in here and flattens this position as well. He can actually run up into the natural, killing SCVs in the command center. And there it is at last. GG. We saw Best win, frankly, a very easy game 1.
Yeah.
It's over.
Well, I mean, he's a huge favorite. He's playing against someone who is in the GSL, or the ASL rather, for the first time. And there's not a whole lot you can hope for him. It almost doesn't matter who you're playing. If it's your first time in ASL, you're getting flattened.
Yeah, well, you're already so out of your element. I mean, Best has been doing this forever. Oh, he's one of the guys that eats the dark chocolate. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see
Some pros have been experimenting with this, where they munch on a little bit of dark chocolate in between games because it gives you a little bit of a kick, but it's not like a kind of more of a dirty sugar buzz. How do you know what I'm saying?
So performance enhancing chocolate for our Protoss player.
Performance enhancing drugs. He's been banned from the ASL. It's like, didn't you know gamer chocolate is banned here?
Gamer chocolate.
Yeah, gamer chocolate.
Damn, we got to start that brand, gamer chocolate.
Come to Tassel Wonka's chocolate.
Tassel Wonka.
Yeah. Guys, that's it for game 1. Game 2 is just around the corner. We will be right back.
관리받다. 관리하지 않는 순간에도 관리받다. 14일 동안 정성껏 발효한 브루잉 콤부차로 관리받다. 브루잉 콤부차.
이상한데? 그렇게 작아. 너무 안 보이는데? 보이지가 않잖아. 쓸 수가 아니, 이거 키워보라고.
성능 17대화면으로 언제 어디서나 더 크게 즐기다. WQXGA 초고화질의 17대화면 16:10 최적의 화면비. 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준 LG 울트라 기어.
야채 착착, 당토 톡톡, 아보카도 슥슥, 그리고 제로. 이렇게 맛있다고? 맛은 배로, 칼로리는 제로. 칠성사이다 제로.
성능을 대용량 배터리로 언제 어디서나 더 오래 즐기다. 72Wh 대용량 배터리, 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준, LG 울트라 기어. 듀얼 메모리, 듀얼 저장 장치, 고성능을 듀얼 업그레이드로 더 오랜 기간 즐기다.
아이시스 에코, 오늘 내룩의 찰떡.
마시고 분리수거 끝.
많은 분들이 아이시스 에코를 따르고 있습니다.
이것도 라벨이 없네?
무라벨은 따라해도 대환영. 팔로우디 에코, 아이시스 에코.
ISIS Echo, the terrorists? ISIS has their own water brand?
Oh my god.
All right.
Yes.
Hope you guys enjoy those commercials. We are back and ready to be going into game 2 here.
Yeah, and we will be getting into that momentarily. But first, guys, we want to thank you for supporting us on the Patreon, patreon.com/ASL English. You guys are keeping it alive. We have a lot of great stuff coming up and planned. We're starting to put some behind-the-scenes stuff there as well. So we hope you guys enjoy, and thank you so much for keeping us around with ASL.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting us after the main live broadcast was canceled. We are very excited to be keeping StarCraft alive, and the history will keep on going here. So yeah, I mean, that last game back there, I'd say a little bit lackluster, to be honest, from the Terran. It was just a mismatch, to be frank.
Yeah, you can't really argue with that. I mean, best versus speed. It's like the guy that we're saying might win. He's the best Protoss in the world probably right now, going up against a first-time Terran on a two-player map where you can't control your own fate as Terran in the early game, right? Like, he can gas you, he cannot gas you. There can be gates outside your base, there cannot be gates. It's whatever. Yeah, gotta expect him to lose the best.
And so we've got a closer look at Action here. Look, Action is a guy who's kind of the embodiment of hard work. Everybody says this guy plays a ton. He's always, top 20 on the ladder. He's had some amazing games, and at times he looks like the best Zerg there is. And he's the other favorite along with Best here to get out of this group, of course.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say that. I think that he is really fantastic. Kind of interesting looking at his win percentages. It looks like his Zerg vs. Terran has done very well for him in ASL. But yeah, he's a very scary Zerg, but he plays a very different Zerg than the absolutely most successful Zergs. Like, the Zergs that win championships in ASL so far are the very high-end micro Zergs, Effort and Zero, right? And then Soma's been very deep multiple times. Whereas Action is more of a macro Zerg. He's a late game Zerg. He's a Defiler Zerg. He's specifically known for Defilers.
Yeah, he's extremely strong, and he's got a very robust approach to the game. But he's going up against JYJ, and again, I feel like the Terrans in our group today, these are great Terran players, but definitely outmatched. We've had some exciting plays from JYJ in the past. He is a bit of a veteran now in the ASL. We've seen him several times, but he is not really outshining his opponents just yet.
Yeah, not these two. But JYJ is of the level that he can start to beat some of the best players in these matches. Like, he's played in ASL enough times. He's good enough. He's not quite the level. Like, if he got a round of 8, that would be insane for JYJ. But a round of 16, if he makes it out of this group, it would be like just a little bit surprising, only because of who didn't advance. But with him advancing, it wouldn't really surprise me that much. I think he is that level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's going to be on Eclipse again. I am looking forward to this. Let's see what happens. Action versus JYJ. One game. Don't forget, the winner is going on to face off against Best in the winner's match, which will be happening right after our game right now.
All right, red and blue, let's do it. In the bottom left, we have Action. And in the top right, we've got JYJ. JYJ is another one of these younger Terrans who's very cutting edge. and this is like an important theme I want to drive home for people, is the newer, younger guys are generally a little bit more cutting edge on build orders than a lot of the older crowd that's a little bit better than them. There are exceptions. Like, for instance, Flash is always exactly on top of what's new.
Yeah,
but
I'd actually say Best as well is kind of on the cutting edge of a lot of these new strategies. Here too, but it's one of the exceptions.
I would agree with that. But then you look at some other players like Sharp, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Sharp is one of the world's best Terrans, but he's generally not as up to... Like, he doesn't even like to play the exactly on-meta, very brand new stuff, whereas that's kind of JYJ's wheelhouse. He some builds that I see that I end up stealing, he'll be the first person I see do them.
He does seem to have all these cutting-edge ladder builds that are inside the ladder ecosystem that are being toyed and tampered with. It's cool to see him coming in here, and I'm curious what he's going to be delivering right now. I do want to point out, Action Zergling control is at times some of the best Zergling control I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, no, he does.
He is very scary with that. I don't know that we're going to have any kind of early rushes or anything like that, but I will say that he is just so good at his control with that.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see likely here, and especially with a walling coming up. Like, a lot of Terrans like to wall on this map and go into like a quick +1 type of play without a bunker. But yeah, we'll see what he has planned. Action, you expect him to do like more of a macro-esque opener, but he has a big range too. He will mix in crazy cheeses from time to time and do more aggressive plays when he feels like it's the right moment.
Okay, so spawning pool and gas are coming down here. Is there anything that JYJ wants to watch for from the Zerg when he's doing an opener like this?
Well, you got to get in there, and we'll look at the timing when he pops in. So he's going to come up, and I think Action wanted to block that because Action's gas is slightly quick.
Yeah, it does seem like a quicker gas here.
Yeah, his gas is timed out in such a way that he's going to have enough gas for both speed and layer when his spawning pool finishes.
Okay.
So that can be a little bit tricky because if you scout late at all and you don't, or if you just don't pay attention or don't check the timing of that gas, sometimes you can get a little bit confused as to like the order of speed and layer.
Right.
And that's one of the most important. I never had a skill jump in a matchup as much as when I started counting seconds after gas started getting mined.
It was one of the crazy things about Remastered was because they added a clock inside the game. Now you can use that to queue up a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy what an amazing tool that is. If you don't play with the clock on, you really should.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
in fact, I took the APM tab off so I could not ever miss it with my eyes.
Oh, dude, the APM tab, actually, you do not need that on it. That's one of the weird things where, like, it still goes on to this day where people obsess a little bit too much about their APM, where really, if you just focus on doing everything that you need to do, your APM is going to be where it needs to be. So this game, the CC is finished. It's down here at the natural. We do have that quick layer inbound here.
Yeah, and I want to mention JYJ is doing an Academy Rush here. He is actually... So this is, again, we were talking about kind of cutting-edge builds and stuff. This one isn't as new, but it's definitely a build a Terran needs. He started his Academy so quickly that he's going to be able to actually do a Marine Medic push-out before the mutas hatch.
Yeah.
So, like, he can force sunken colonies. He can force a cancel on a third base if that's going up too quick.
Yeah.
He has a lot of options with that, and it's a strong opener.
Yeah, very cool to see him trying this out here now. We have what looks like from Action to be one of the more classic older Zerg builds, which is the 2-hatch muta play. The SCV is spotted by the drone, by the way.
And vice versa. This is actually a very tricky play from Action. You don't take this as your third. The fact that he's sending the drone up here, I wonder if he'll turn around as he kills the SCV.
I think he's not going to commit onto it. Can he go to the other hidden expansion there? Now, he might actually kill this SCV and then go back again. Let's see.
Yeah.
Nope. Going to take that third over there.
So the third that Action just took, that's the normal one. But he was trying to hide where he was making it so that it would get passed by. Because, again, the opener that JYJ is doing can actually force a cancel on that third. That's like what this does. It forces sunkens and forces a cancel. And suddenly, as the Terran player, you're like, oh, look at this. I'm golden. I had to skip a few SCVs, but it gives you a lot of reward.
It's very cool, but is he going to actually find that third base? You're a little bit limited on scans, and you got to be careful with an army that's this small here too. I mean, you can take some fights, but what is this? Like 7 Marines here. You know, if you get enough Mutalisks out and just a couple Lings at the right angle. He does, by the way, force a cancel. The drone reverts back into being the hatch goes back into being a drone. It looks like it's going to be picked off by this one Marine over here.
Well, that basically went perfectly. There was so many little mind games that we have already witnessed here, right? We're less than 6 minutes in, and we've seen so much back and forth already between these two players. And this is, I feel like it's heralding a very good game for us. But I would say, looking at the openings so far, I like JYJ's position slightly more than Action's because he was able to cancel that. Force a couple Sunkens, which makes... Look, there's only 2 Mutas flying across the map.
No, look,
you can normally get 6 over there at this time.
Yeah, and I think he's played Action pretty well here. I mean, we'll see how Action handles the rest of this game. The Mutas are now out, and so the Terran seals himself off inside of his main.
Action is taking a third down towards the bottom right. Very defendable base if he can hold it. And in fact, taking one of those first, I think this shows a lot of intelligence from Action. Like, remember the game with Royal where he was playing against Shine and how Shine had a hard time getting a 4th, right?
Right.
Because he took this base that's further away first, he'll be able to get lurkers there and then take the closer base as his 4th.
It's funny because that third base, you know, if you take a risk like we're seeing here now and you get away with it, the 4th base is pretty damn easy to snag, right?
Exactly. The riskier third base gives you an easier 4th base, and that's true on a lot of maps. Action already took some risks to do that, which put him slightly behind where he could be. But you know what? I like what he's done here. Now Action showing us some very solid Mutalisk micros so far, trying to harass the edges. Some scans coming down from JYJ. He sees that Hydralisk Den, so has to assume that lurkers will be on the way.
So now the double starport's going to come down. Terran's banked up enough gas. We can get these 2 vessels out immediately, and the Irradiate is going to be what counters the Mutas. But again, I think Action is playing, I think, a very strong game in general right now. I mean, a lot of times, Zergs like Action will just whittle down lesser Terrans in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
They can basically duke it out with you against their Mutas and just kind of, you don't get to make any progress on the map at all. So it's going to be important for JYJ to really control this well. A scan does reveal the third base, by the way, and this may propel JYJ to start to push down south.
Yeah, there's enough Mutas out right now that it is a little bit tough. You see he's taking his time. You got to be careful because, like you said, a good Zerg can whittle down this army. And if you lose a big army like this, especially when you're only on 3 barracks like he is, it's hard to replace. They might run away with the game at that point.
Yeah, now he's going to come in here. This is a great double turret to try to take out. Terran's going to have to try to secure this over here. You're on top of production for the time being. Also, the small ramp over here on this map makes these Mutas much more abusable.
And he brought in even more Mutas. That was like 15 Mutas or something in there for a moment.
I think he may have tipped his hand with that, though. I guess he might not care, but the truth is that, you know, some players, they stick at about 11 Mutas and they'll fill in Mutas as they get picked off, but in reality, you're trying to go into lurkers. It seems like he wants to try to hammer the Terran with just more and more Mutas like this.
Yeah, it might be. He does have the Hydralisk Den up, though, so maybe he'll switch now that he's losing a lot of Mutas and it's not working as well. He could go into lurker. Hard to say what he'll do, but we do hear a lot of Mutalisk death right now.
Yeah, a lot of Mutas are being picked off. Looks like he's going to try to dive into the natural here. This turret's not going to last long enough to keep this safe here. The Lings are going to come down. And he's using, again, the bottleneck of the ramp to basically really abuse the Terran here with these Muta swipes.
Dude, he is killing a lot with these Mutas.
Yeah, every once in a while he's mismicroed, and you can see the Mutas pull away right before they were supposed to attack. This kind of attacking technique is very difficult, but I think actually Terran's just dead.
Oh, if he can hold on at all, he has double vessel coming. Tasteless, don't you say that.
Tasteless, these claims are very, very damaging.
But look, he has a couple vessels that just pop. He's going to have a Radiate soon, which means he's going to massacre the Mutas. I think this game actually goes on a bit longer because the Mutas are not going to work forever. He's going to be able to push him back. He's going to be able to retake his natural. You mark my words, Tasteless.
I mean, the thing is, the Lings are coming in now, and the Marines, you know, they're kind of squished in a spot where I think, yeah, they are kind of safe versus the Mutalisks, but Mutaling, man, I mean, the production has been really shut down. Maybe when the Irradiate comes out, he can chase him out.
You negative Nancy. You watch this now. He's going to come take this natural. All right, there's still a whole group of mutas, but he has double Irradiate. You better cast those Irradiates.
Oh, Vessel. Okay, there's the Irradiate.
He missed. One of the vessels didn't get the Irradiate off, and he lost it.
Even with the Muta getting that on top of the Marines there and doing that damage, this was just an excellent play by the Action overall. I mean, this is kind of what I was talking about, where sometimes you just see like really good Zergs, almost like it's a fighting game, like just combo the Terran into their main and then it's over, because they're just so good at controlling.
Tasteless.
Yes.
Would you believe me if I told you it's still not over?
No, I mean, I believe you are tough. Will I stop making fun of you? Well, never. But I believe that, yeah, that he's going to land this over there.
He's building his vessel count, which is like the important thing. He just scanned. There's no hive. Right? So you're not dead. Like, he's hurt. He's hurt, Tasteless. He's bleeding. But the vessels have lots of Band-Aids.
Yeah, the vessels are the comeback mechanic.
Yeah.
This, but
well, you spend this much on mutas, you stay on mutas for this long, and then suddenly, I mean, I can't believe he screwed up with the first vessel, but he's got 3 right now. 3 more Irradiates, and the mutas are done. So, like, Action has to go into Lurkers, which should give map control temporarily to JYJ.
And that's what he needs. We've got 2 Hydras over there at the third base. More Lurkers are going to come out now. Is he going to go for a contain with this, or does he just want to turtle back at home?
Oh, you want to take the map over right now as JYJ. You need to get down there and make sure he doesn't get a 4th. Yeah, he has 3 bases, but Action was playing super aggro for a little bit, right? Like, he was making tons of units. He did spend a lot of units. He did a ton of damage at JYJ, but Action didn't get into a spot where the game could be closed, you know?
Right.
Like, he made him lift. He killed tons of SCVs. He killed tons of Marines. But here we are, and it's like, okay, well, Action probably has to drone a little bit and maybe go Hive, right? He might have to go Hive here.
I think he has to go Hive.
Right?
But I do like this counterattack over here. Thank God, for JYJ's sake, he made the bunkers. Is this enough Lurkers to actually kill this off?
No, not if you repair.
Yeah, well, this many Lings may say otherwise here.
Well, he's targeting down the SCVs pretty darn well with that. But you can see Bunker is a good unit to have against this type of play. But he's killing, oh my God, killing the third base.
I didn't see that.
Ooh, and he's gonna, there's no more Lings to actually flood the ramp right now. So he brings back the Science Vessels, only 2 Lurkers there. Dude, JYJ actually might take this after that trade.
I think you're right, Tastosis.
Like, he took a lot of damage, but when you get really low economy for both races, it gets better for Terran.
Yeah, Medic, Marine, and Vessel is better in, like, by every metric. If it's on very low econ.
Your micro, once you have the Vessels out, so that, because mutas can out-micro you, yes, but the rest of the units cannot. So you have the Vessels, which stop the mutas, and bam, suddenly your Marine medics are worth so much.
Yeah, this has been a very funny game. I'm surprised that Action didn't have Lurker eggs to block the ramp.
Yeah.
At the third. I mean,
I'm not sure what happened with that, actually.
That's it.
Yeah.
He actually just gives up. What a game.
Dude.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, that's crazy. You're right, actually, about that. I think he was focusing on his attack, maybe? And because we saw the Hydras, like you said, you're like, oh, okay, he has a couple Hydras at the natural, or at the third, and then we went to the natural, and there were Lurker eggs. And that's where they were standing, and that's where they were burrowed. So I think you're right. I think he didn't move his Lurkers to morph to the ramp. I think he started morphing them where they were. Then the counterattack came in, just walked up the ramp, and killed the third. So definitely a mistake, but you know what? Solid play from JYJ to hold on through that, because Action almost killed him.
Yeah, I mean, I was really convinced that once we saw everything get chased into the main, I'm like, oh, this is bad, man. This might be over. But hey, props to JYJ, and this means we're going to have JYJ versus Best coming up.
JYJ versus Best, that's actually going to be a very good match. And, I mean, Action going up against Speed, it would be really surprising to see him fall to a rookie when Action has been, like, nailing round of 8 pretty reasonably. But, yeah, I'm excited for this next match. JYJ actually has some really sick builds in PvP.
Yeah, Best, though, looking so strong, so fearsome here. And so up next, we've got Best versus JYJ. But are we going to go to the break just yet?
No, Tasteless. No, Tasteless.
We've got to come back on camera.
We're not making that mistake ever again.
That was an embarrassing day 2, Tastosis.
It was.
Never again.
And day 1 as well.
All right, so here we are. Here are beautiful beautiful faces. It's so good to be here.
But yeah,
Passing
no,
ASL,
it's
you guys.
it's actually amazing. I feel so good. Like, I felt so sad when ASL went away, and then I felt so
Well,
good when it's back. And now
we
that
had
we're
the-
casting it, I'm like, yes.
The arc of the universe does bend towards justice. It was a very sad meeting when they told us they were canceling our hosting gig. So guys, thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. If you do want to support us directly while we give you guys this content, it's patreon.com/ASL English. We hope you support us through the entire year. And we do have plans down the road to maybe start to add some more StarCraft stuff. We can't really go into it just yet.
We don't want
just getting this recorded. We're trying to do one thing at a time, but I don't want the history of StarCraft to be limited to the Korean language. We want to make this accessible. This is why we came out to Korea, because we love this game, and we wanted to share it with the rest of the world.
And honestly, we're going to get implants so that when our hearts stop beating, that's when StarCraft dies.
Yeah, that's right.
it's going down with us.
The servers explode right up on our desk.
So you guys better keep us
Yeah,
alive
that's right.
if you want StarCraft, because when my heart stops beating, all the leagues get canceled.
That's right.
GSL, ASL, the ladder gets shut down.
Like the movie Speed, but instead of the bus going a certain speed limit, Tastosis just isn't allowed to die, or we all get killed.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. This has been so fun to cast this, and the support you guys have shown us already is amazing. So again, thank you so much.
Yeah. Now you have me wondering about this. I'm like, I think they'd figure out a way to take my beating heart and just keep that like going like this in like a cylinder or something. Like my brain's been dead for 1,000 years.
They shoot you with a trank gun and just come in there and remove the thing. And, yeah.
Oh my god. That's not how I want to go.
No. You don't want to go by trank gun? No.
Not by trank gun. Oh my gosh. But yeah, man, this is I'm having a blast. It's so great.
Me too.
And season 11 is shaping up to be our best yet. Like all these days have 2 Terrans playing, which is all I dream about.
Tastosis has been very happy with the number of Terran games that he is getting to cast to then go to a stream.
You know, when I saw how many Terrans were in here, I was like, well, Pace is going to talk some shit to me, but you know what? I am happy.
Yeah,
I am happy about that.
Well, I mean, I got mine when we had the KSL and it was 4. So I'm gonna go buy.
양념 툭툭, 올리브유 또르르. 우와, 그리고 제로. 너무 좋다. 맛은 배로, 칼로리는 제로. 칠성사이다 제로.
성능을 언제 어디서나 가볍게 즐기다. 지포스 GTX 1650 그래픽 최신 인텔 10세대 프로세서 탑재. 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준 LG 울트라 기어.
관리받다. 관리하지 않는 순간에도 관리받다. 14일 동안 정성껏 발효한 브루잉 콤부차로 관리받다. 브루잉 콤부차.
디자인하면서 가장 중요하게 생각했던 부분은 울트라 기어의 차별화된 브랜드 메시지를 잘 나타내는 것입니다. 신과 영웅들의 최강의 무기들을 검토하였습니다. 그중 니케의 승리의 날개를 모티브로 지금의 울트라 기어의 로고가 탄생하게 되었습니다. 울트라 기어의 이니셜인 U와 G를 비상하는 날개의 형상으로 레드 색상을 사용하여 강력한 에너지와 힘을 나타내었습니다. 울트라 기어는 최상의 퍼포먼스로 진정한 게임의 즐거움, 승리의 기쁨을 여러분께 선사할 것입니다.
숙취 요즘 누가 저렇게 깨니? 맨날 똑같은 거, 맛없는 거 깨. 이제 탄산으로 깨. 숙취 해소의 새로운 기준. 가스감. 환도 역시 가스감이 대세.
We are back, and we are ready for the winners match. It's going to be a TVP. JYJ, and at least in my opinion, a bit of an upset, actually, defeating Action back there. Tastosis says that maybe JYJ can be best. I think he's crazy.
Well, let me put this into perspective, right? I think JYJ's actual rank amongst Terrans is around 7th in the world. Right around there. You know, not higher than that. Maybe you could argue 1 or 2 spots lower than that, but he's very, very good. And the thing is, he brings very good builds, and it's a best of 1. So, like, it is possible for him to beat Best. Now, Best, as far as I'm concerned, he is the best Protoss vs. Terran player in the world right now, for sure. I mean, you saw some of those games against Flash more recently,
it was
right?
insane. I would be, like, texting you at your house, like, you got to check this out.
Yeah. Morpheus is fighting Neo type
Morpheus
situation.
fighting Neo.
Yeah. Except it's Best fighting Flash,
yeah.
which is like, that's when Morpheus and Neo stop fighting each other to go
what?
watch.
Yeah, they get in the Nebuchadnezzar and get on the stream and start watching.
They go over the house of like the head robot guy with the face robot. It's time.
All right.
Ultimate stream.
Ultimate stream. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Ultimate stream.
At twitch.tv/Tastosis.
Tastosis TV on Twitch. Go. Actually, I've been enjoying streaming a lot, man.
Oh, it's a blast.
I've been streaming for about a year now, and it's fun. It's fun to connect with you guys. You guys are so funny, and it's kind of cool to have like a little hangout place. I think it's weird for us because we started doing TV stuff first.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I don't know if I want to stream. I don't know if it's for me. And now that I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, this is great. I know I haven't streamed in about a week or two here. I've injured my shoulder, but I think my shoulder is almost back to normal.
Well, the reason I even cast Tasteless is because I want to play. Because I want to be a pro gamer, basically, is what it comes down to, right? Like, I want to be good at StarCraft, and that's what got me into casting. And then I found out I was 1,000 times better at casting than playing.
Yeah, that's
and
when you found out you were J-Dong of casting, and you cut your childish fantasy of being a great pro gamer out and hang out with me and Cassie's games, Tastosis.
But now I get to stream again, so the dream is back.
No, the dream is back. The dream is. I've been enjoying improving again, and it's fun to just ladder.
Dude,
you know, it feels good, and it's rewarding when you see yourself improve and you test out builds, and it's so great.
Yeah, and when I'm in a good mood, queuing up feels so good, and then also when I'm angry, rage queuing just feels right.
It does.
So it's like I just never need to stop, man. It's perfect. So, okay, let's take a look-see here. So just a forward gate at the natural from Best. This map has a lot of interesting terrain on it. I haven't seen many games here yet. So going to be learning Ultimate Stream a little bit with you guys. But yeah, let's see what JYJ is going to do. It's just a bit, okay, he does get the gas. But I was going to say, this is like a very decent map because you do have the ramp up to your main base for Nexus First or for a gasless expand for Terran. It's very strong here. But with JYJ getting his gas, it looks like he's not really interested in doing anything overly greedy.
Yeah, JYJ being pretty straightforward here. I'm not sure exactly how this build for Best operates on this map, so I'm going to be unpacking this along with you guys here. I actually did not think he was going to be opening with this. I thought maybe Nexus First.
Yeah,
to be honest. So
I think Nexus First is really good here. Like we saw in a previous match, someone try to bust that with an 8 racks to begin.
Right.
That was.
I do feel like there's a rotation of build counters here.
Yeah.
On this map for this matchup. This map does remind me of, guys want to go down memory lane, Katrina, which was an extremely popular map when I first moved to Korea.
Yeah.
And it's, Katrina, like this map, is one where you start out with your expansion on a high ground area. So it allows for 2 basing very easily. Back then, a lot of people went for extremely quick carriers.
Yeah, well, it was especially good on that map.
But I don't know if that's still going to be viable today. You know, sometimes you see the way people played on maps at certain times, but the understanding of the game was just different then.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there. We might have, quick carriers eventually here, but Best didn't go for the super quick expand. He actually has Zealots out here to try to put some pressure, probably counter an 8 racks or something like that as well.
Sure, yeah.
Ooh, good little maneuver there by Best. The SCV would actually ideally want to block the Nexus there, but he hit it behind the minerals, comes back out, and now that Nexus has started.
Yeah, it looks like JYJ just going to throw down his own command center here very quickly. And, yeah, I mean, these are These are pretty normal openers, to be honest. It's almost as if they're not playing a special new map. You know?
Yeah, yeah. So we got these 3 Marines coming out with the Vulture. I don't feel like Protoss should be too threatened by this, though.
No, but what the 3 Marines can do is they can push back the Dragoon. Right? Three Marines beat a Dragoon. So notice how he turned around before he went up the ramp? It's because if you run up there, the Marines are going to, like... 3 Marines just straight up beat a non-range Dragoon. So when they're on top of a ramp, it's even worse, and he runs away.
1 Dragoon and 1 Probe do beat 3 Marines, though.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Unless you start on high ground with that first shot. But yeah. It looks like the Vulture gets blocked. The Dragoon
Am I impressing you with my knowledge? You're like, yeah, that's true, Tasteless, right? I'm like, George Washington was the first president of America. You're like, yeah, that's true too, Tasteless.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, tit for tat so far. Looks like nothing out of the ordinary. We see that looks like JYJ being pretty brave overall. He doesn't make a bunker at all. He's going mines. He's just making some vultures. And his SCV positioning tells me he wants to make a 3rd base. And I told you that he had some builds for some best of ones, Tasteless.
Okay, I don't know.
This is not a real build.
This was not... This is so crazy. He's going to make a 3rd CC.
That's insane. That is insane.
He's a Terra Zerg.
Yeah, no, he's playing like he's a Protoss or a Zerg player. Like, this is literally
crazy.
not even a thing. Like, only against Nexus first do you ever do this.
Here's the thing, too, is that I understand a 3rd CC like this if it's somewhere completely obscure.
Okay.
But the location of the CC is actually where you would expand with your 3rd base on this map.
Yes.
So that's very interesting because... This means, you know, Protoss is going to come out looking for this. It's going to be one of the first spots you look for. Now, you're not looking for an expansion that's already there. You're looking to check when the expansion would start. But this appears to me to be an extremely risky, very naked build from the Terran.
Yes.
But if it goes unpunished, it'll be extremely powerful.
Yeah. And this will be the interesting part from Best. Like, the first Observer comes out. Are you going to use it to clear mines, or are you going to use it to scout? Now, for this case... For clearing mines would be the best. If his Observer flies straight across without clearing mines, there's enough mines out that, you know, maybe it's a little bit hard for him to get over there in time before JYJ has enough to defend this.
Yeah. Support Bay is on the way here. Now, I want to point out Reaver Tech can just counter what we have here. There's nothing about Reaver Tech that really runs into trouble versus a greedy expanding Terran. If anything, this would be something that is a dream come true. I mean, again, like Tastosis was pointing out, this isn't really like a normal build. I mean, people stopped doing stuff like this over a decade ago.
Yeah, no, this is not really feasible what he's doing.
Yeah,
normally.
because everybody basically concluded, well, Terrans can't actually expand that fast because Protoss will just walk across the map with Dragoons and whoop their ass.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
It's funny to see it now, but keep in mind the Observer's not actually going there.
You wouldn't check the 3rd very quickly, honestly.
Nobody does. Because the first thing you're looking for is it going to be the first thing you're looking for is it going to be a timing attack? So you check the factories and then you see the armor and you go, okay, maybe this is going to be hardcore 2-base upgraded Terran.
100% what you think here as Best is there is a drop ship on the map. Because you have scouted mines, you've scouted vultures only. That's a late factory right there, a late second factory. You put all that together, that is normally a dropship opener. Instead, it's a 3rd. He hasn't sent the Observer because no one does this. Guys, this is crazy what we're seeing from JYJ.
But if this registers in every possible way, he may start to check for hidden bases. There are questionable plays in any matchup where you go, wait a minute. There is always the chance you hit a command center somewhere, but look, right now, and also, by the way, one of the funny things with the Reaver Tech here, you don't get a lot of observers. You usually get about 2. You see there's one back here clearing mines. There's another one in the base. So had this been like, you know, just mass Dragoon observer, then you would have had an observer down here. But because he's making the shuttle, because he's making the Reaver, he's just not checking this because it's not, you know, in the list of possibilities in his head.
He's gone for like an insanely good turret ring. He's got setups everywhere. JYJ... Like I told you, this guy will have a build that's really good. And honestly, he's really far ahead of Best right now. If he just macros cleanly from here, which is super easy for someone at his level, what is Best to do? what is he to do? There's going to be so many units. It's going to be craziness, man. Like he is going to be rolling through Best when Best is not ready for it.
Well, on paper, JYJ should just end up with more and kind of roll over the Protoss here.
Well, he should be in control at minimum, right? Like keeping Best down on bases. Best is going to have to really fight tooth and nail.
Think about this. The Nexus is just now finishing over there for that third base. That's insane. Now, I think what is going down, it's a speed shuttle is moving down here. He's going to see this.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think it's already too late.
Watch his face, Tasteless.
All right, let's get ready. Good thing he doesn't have a mask on.
He is just going to find it out.
Like, what?
Depot.
Huh. Okay, he didn't really... I mean, he knows it's there, but I think he doesn't fully...
Yeah, if he gets in and sees like the SCV count and stuff, clicks on a mineral patch, he's gonna be like, "Oh my god, that was right away."
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought he might have some shock. I guess these consummate pros.
He's like, "Oh, that's what I thought was there." I didn't want to waste my time with my observer going down there to check. So he's gonna come in here like this. Oh,
nice, very nice. Yeah, knocks out the turret. I love it.
Oh, look at this gamer.
Oh, but look at these two Goliath gamers coming in. Yeah, and he clears that pretty easily. Some Dragoons coming up, but man, like his economy is still looking really strong. And I mean, look at the supplies right now. JYJ is neck and neck with Best, and he is adding a lot of factories.
What does Best do now? A lot of times, when you look at games like this, you think, okay, I just got to check that spot. Builds like this, also, by the way, from JYJ, things that are almost not a thing. They're like very risk-takey, but if your opponent isn't hyper vigilant about everything, they may not get it. These are best on new maps like this.
Yeah.
Because everybody's a bit more uncomfortable moving around, but
absolutely.
Best has decided it's time to come out on the map, but I think Terran has too much. You can see that Terran's already slightly ahead in supply. That means the Protoss is behind because Protoss is supposed to be ahead of supply in an even game like this.
Yeah,
that
honestly,
sounds weird, but it's true.
You can be down like 20-ish supply and still hold on against Protoss attacks.
Right.
But yeah, let's see what Best does. He's coming in through the long way. There is a mine there to set JYJ off. Now, does JYJ turn around or does he keep going?
I don't know, actually.
Okay, he is going to keep going. He's just lifting the command center. He's saying, screw it, I'm not being pinned in here. He'll lay mines in the retreat path, most likely.
Yeah, and this is going to be hard for the Dragoons to chew their way through.
Oh, he's not going to the retreat path all the way. He's just kind of laying them so it can't be flanked.
Okay, the observer's coming over here. He sees the exact movement here. Is there going to be a flank? This is kind of a small bottleneck to push through.
Oh, that's such a tiny army, too. Look at the size of JRJ's army. Here we go. Best running in on top of it. Double drops coming out. He does drag a few mines there that do all right, but the Zealots are going to be chewed up in a second, which means the Dragoons will be minced meat.
I don't even know what to say. There's like more tanks than Dragoons right now.
Yeah.
And this is all because he snuck that base out. And I think actually Best is going to lose. I think your boy JYJ is going to move on, Artosis.
I told you, Tasteless. Lucky number 7. Seventh best Terran.
That's right. Taking out this Protoss with a kind of a build order cheese, so to speak. Just getting that hidden base up, and it goes undetected. It goes unpunished.
Yeah, this is looking so strong. He's getting up into the natural. There's like no units here. There's an Arbiter. I doubt that it has stasis quite yet, but even if it does, he's down 40 supply. That is a huge amount of supply for Terran to be ahead.
Okay, Dragoons continuing to fire back. I think this is over, man. I mean, this is already sort of a boxy area. It's going to be hard to get anything that can come out here and take fights. The Zealots and the Dragoons are going to go ahead and fight these tanks now.
He better kill that Nexus, Tasteless, because he's actually going to get cleared here. A couple mines actually dragged into the Vultures. Okay, he suicides onto it. So Best ends up holding. He clears the tanks and everything. And I guess he's still on 3 base against 3 base. I still like JYJ's spot more than Best's, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, he hasn't really lost much of anything. I mean, he did lose that push. What are these probes doing?
He was a bit sloppy with the push, for sure.
This is such an insane catch here.
It is. Oh, that's a lot of dead probes, man.
Yeah, that was a great catch. And now this 4th base, the one that's supposed to allow Best to maybe get ahead, he just can't do anything with it. Now look at the supplies, guys. It's 102 to 138.
Yeah, it's bad here for Best.
So funny to see JYJ do this style of play.
Well, honestly, it was an economic cheese, is what we have to boil down to, right? It was an insane risk. Like you said, if Best has any inclination that could be happening, he can walk across the map and basically win the game. but it was, you know, no one ever does that. So that's like a great one-use thing. I guarantee you that will not be used again by JYJ, right? Like, people will have that in their mind now. That's like a one-time build, but you're playing against Best in the round of 24, the best time to use it.
Yeah, and we are seeing, because of this build, we're seeing a small weakness with some of these Reaver games after you have your second base up here. It's just you don't have a lot of observers out on the map, but especially when the obs gets inside the base, basically what you don't see, you can draw conclusions. And in this case, he probably thought, okay, there's a starport somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't need to check the third. It's not likely he's going to take that, but that's what happened.
Well, right now, a lot of vultures out on the map. Best does have +2 attack. He's like getting up to a reasonable supply. I mean, around these numbers, if you have like really good control and spellcasters, like if he has some Psy Storms in here plus Stasis, you can start to win some minor battles, right? Like you can, if Terran screws up, you can maybe clear another army. But definitely a terrible situation here for Best. If he pulls this one out, man, it's his season.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Best to do something crazy, but it would seem like players of this caliber, you know, it's harder to recover from. Maybe though a great Stasis, maybe, you know, he catches him mid-siege.
Some great mind drags, perhaps.
You know, JYJ starts to unsiege, and that's right when, you know, Best can attack in.
But you're right, it's like the combo of a great move from Best and a mistake from JYJ.
Yeah.
Because like right now, up 40 supply.
No, I mean, these numbers don't lie about the situation. It's a very unusual supply differential right now for this matchup in general.
If you reversed it, I'd be like, oh, it's a pretty good game.
Yeah. So Terran's about to push now, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you know, 162. Yeah, he's totally fine. He's not going to die anytime soon.
Yeah. Now, I think Best may have to rely on counterattacks here, but I don't know if there's that many spots to really counter into. I mean, it's just 3-base Terran, right?
Yeah. Well, he is finally going to take a fourth, but look at the mini-map. Like, just look at all the orange. He's got mines, like, all through the top left, so it's really hard to do anything special, right? Like, maybe you want to do a recall or something, but he'll probably see it coming with the mines. And if you see recall coming, it's actually not scary.
No.
Even I'm saying that, and no one hates recall like me, man. Like, if you see that Arbiter coming from a while away, you can just get units in there, and like, what are they going to do?
Yeah. No, I mean, the recall's lost its magic by that point in time.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of trumping move that it was before. Terran's going to come out finally here. This game's actually gone on for a bit longer than I thought it was going to go for, but I think that Best is putting up a fight. I just don't see him finding a way out of this predicament that he's in.
Well, let's see it. He's got these Arbiters out. There is a vessel here with enough mana for that EMP. He's going for it. Now that was good.
That was good.
Yeah, gets a bunch of the vultures. He won't be able to attack into that area now.
One more stasis wouldn't hurt on those tanks.
The vultures kind of block any engagement, so it makes me nervous he's going to attack in now. Like, normally you want stasis on tanks. That's like the #1 priority, but I guess if you get rid of like almost all the vultures, that can be good too. Okay, here he comes, but yeah, look at that. He gets another stasis off onto some tanks. He's coming down with the rest of his army.
It's a third stasis he's going to have. Yeah, he needs to cast that pretty quickly here. He's going to actually drop zealots on top of this.
Ooh, some really good zealot bombs there. Dude drags some mines. EMP hits that Arbiter.
Oh my God, where's the stasis coming? I think, yeah, you're right. He got EMP'd.
Yeah, nice D-Matrix comes down on the tank, and he's got so many tanks here. The stasis comes off this set of vultures as well as that vessel that has energy. Almost enough for an EMP.
Yeah, kind of insane there. Again, Protoss had, I think, some of the best engages you could ask for, but JYJ is already so far ahead because of the risk he took. So much of this game just goes back to that hidden base.
Yeah,
I'm so surprised he did the hidden base right by his...
I know!
Like, I would have thought, okay, maybe like the bottom right main.
Yeah.
Or something where it's like, they're not going to look there. GG, Best taps out, and we'll go to the final match. JYJ... Scumbag builds his way into the round of 16. I'll tell you what, in a tournament that is all about survival, I think it was a good move.
It was a great move because Best is a better player than him, I would say, right? Like, he's a bit stronger. He's great at this matchup. And JYJ, like, knows it's like you are such a good player that this is what you'll think when you get there. Like, you notice Best kept Dragoons in his main base for a really long time. Like, I really think he was expecting a drop. JYJ sold it. He made it look like a drop. There was even a time I caught Vultures running by the edge of Best's base. And, like, if he sees that with one of his buildings, you're like, oh, they're getting ready to go on a dropship over there, right? Like, you start thinking things like this. You start thinking ahead of what this could be. No one ever takes a third base like that, and that is why it worked so well.
Great play by JYJ. We're going to go to an interview in a second here. You know, I will tell you this, man. I did not think JYJ was going to get out
First place.
For sure.
First place.
I thought maybe he gets out second, but I was so confident that Best or maybe Action would advance here, but man.
Well, I think one of them still 100% will.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be
ASL
quiet.
시즌 11 24강 C조 경기 함께하고 계십니다. 가장 먼저 16강에 진출한 선수는 테란 정영재 선수였는데요. 지금 바로 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
와, 지난 시즌에 이어 이번 시즌 역시 16강에 진출하셨는데요. 훨씬 더 업그레이드된 정영재 선수의 경기력을 볼 수 있었던 것 같습니다. 오프라인에서의 이제 좀 긴장감 이런 것들은 완벽하게 극복하신 것 같은데요. 좀 어떠신가요?
극복 아직 했다고 하기에는 너무 커리어가 없기 때문에 좀 더 올라가야 되지 않나 싶네요.
계속해서 극복해 나가고 커리어도 갱신해 나가는 이번 시즌이 되지 않을까 싶은데요. 어떻게 오늘 김성대 선수, 도재욱 선수 굉장히 노련한 선수들을 상대로 승리를 거두고 16강에 올라갔기 때문에 조금 더 좀 감회가 남다르지 않을까 싶어요.
제가 ASL 때도 재욱이 형한테 졌고 ASTL 때 성대한테 졌기 때문에 복수하고 싶었거든요. 근데 딱 잘 맞아떨어진 것 같아서 기분이 좋네요.
도재욱 선수와의 경기에서 김성대 선수와의 경기에서는 이 드론 공격 막아내고 정찰까지 굉장히 깔끔하게 해내셨습니다. 이후에 김성대 선수가 거의 뮤탈을 올인하다시피 좀 진출 타이밍을 막는 듯한 모습이었는데 그때도 좀 흔들리거나 하진 않았나요?
솔직하게 리플레이 다시 봤을 때는
네.
링이 저글링이랑 같이 올라갔으면 진짜 위험했더라고요. 근데 이게 제가 터렛을 분명히 지으라 했는데 말을 안 듣는 거예요. 또 지나 했는데
네.
상대도 실수해줘가지고 운이 좋았던 것 같아요.
그래도 마지막에 베스들이 나오고 나서는 바로 좀 삼가스 지역을 미는 판단, 자신감으로 좀 판단을 하는 모습들이 오늘 여러 번 나왔던 것 같아요.
안 가려고 했는데 뭔가 본능적으로 가더라고요. 또 졌으면 엄청 욕먹지 않았을까 싶네요.
오늘 인터뷰를 통해서도 좀 공격적인 모습을 보여주겠다라고 했는데 도재욱 선수와의 경기에서는 마인 트리플을 하셨습니다.
장윤철이라는 친구가 추천해준 건데요. 그 친구 말대로 하면 지더라고요. 근데 말 들었더니 이기네요. 윤철이한테 고맙다고 전하고 싶네요.
장윤철 선수가 추천한 빌드에서 좀 패배했던 이유는 뭐라고 생각하세요? 그러면 여기까지.
윤철이가 추천해서 진 게 아니라
네.
윤철이가 말만 하면 그 반대로 되기 때문에
네.
그래서 찝찝했는데 좀 다행이네요.
굉장히 좀 흔히 보기 어려웠던 빌드를 가지고 정영재 선수만의 스타일로 좀 경기를 풀어내신 것 같은데요. 이 마지막 도재욱 선수와의 경기에서는 좀 센터로 진격하는 플레이, 6시 쪽 커맨드를 들고 센터로 진격하는 판단은 좀 어떻게 하셨나요?
공격적인 걸 좋아하다 보니까 본능적으로 그냥 가버리게 되더라고요.
네.
근데 일단 상황이 너무 좋았다고 생각해서 그냥 싸워도 이길 것 같은데 돌리니까 이제 안 질 것 같다 생각하고 그냥 밀고 나갔던 것 같아요.
많은 팬분들이 정영재 선수에게 기대를 안 하고 있기 때문에 그런 것들을 뛰어넘을 때 더 좀 큰 성취감을 느낀다라고 인터뷰를 통해서도 말씀을 하셨습니다. 또 한 번 기대하게 만드는 정영재 선수의 오늘 경기가 아니었을까 싶은데요. 팬들에게도 들려주고 싶은 말씀 있으실 것 같아요.
요새 너무 많이 져가지고 솔직히 아무도 기대를 안 했을 거예요. 저도 기대를 안 하고 왔거든요. 근데 이틀 동안 준비하면서 될까 싶었는데 이렇게 좋은 결과 있어서 너무 다행이고요. 그리고 항상 잘하나 못하나 원해주시는 분들에게 항상 너무 감사하다고 전하고 싶네요.
네, 16강에서도 정영재 선수의 멋진 경기 기대하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 16강에 가장 먼저 진출한 정영재 선수 만나봤고요. 저는 잠시 후에 두 번째 진출자와 함께 돌아오겠습니다.
관리받다. 관리하지 않는 순간에도 관리받다. 14일 동안 정성껏 발효한 브루잉 콤부차로 관리받다. 브루잉 콤부차.
이상한데? 그렇게 작아. 너무 안 보이는데? 보이지가 않잖아. 쓸 수가
아니
없는데?
저 키워보라고.
성능 17대화면으로 언제 어디서나 더 크게 즐기다. WQXGA 초고화질의 17대화면 16:10 최적의 화면비. 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준 LG 울트라 기어.
야채 착착, 당토 톡톡, 아보카도 슥슥, 그리고 제로. 이렇게 맛있다고? 맛은 배로, 칼로리는 제로. 칠성사이다 제로.
성능을 대용량 배터리로 언제 어디서나 더 오래 즐기다. 72Wh 대용량 배터리. 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준 LG 울트라 기어. 듀얼 메모리, 듀얼 저장 장치. 고성능을 듀얼 업그레이드로 더 오랜 기간 즐기다.
아이시스 에코 오늘 내룩의 찰떡.
마시고 분리수거 끝.
많은 분들이 아이시스 에코를 따르고 있습니다.
이것도 라벨이 없네?
무라벨은 따라해도 대환영. 팔로우디 에코 아이시스 에코.
Still don't know about that ISIS water. Not sure.
Not sure.
I'm just not sure if we should be supporting them by buying their water. All right, guys, we're back, and we got to make these losers duke it out.
These losers.
Couple of losers are going to fight. We're going to cast it.
Yeah.
We're going to see who's the biggest loser of all. I can't believe that Action is down here. And I can't believe that the winner of this goes up against Best, which means that both Best and Action, it's impossible now for them to advance.
Yeah, that's messed up. I'm sure that Action right now is like inside. He's like, damn it. Like, I'll beat this guy, but like Best, that's hard, you know? But look, Speed, I hope that he can show a good high-quality game here. He really got just manhandled by Best. And, well, hopefully he does better here on Ascension against Action.
Action's got to be pretty beat up here for that loss he had back there. He was playing a very good game. He just didn't quite stabilize when JYJ pushed out.
Yeah, he didn't quite get his lurkers up and stuff like that, so kind of did a huge counter attack.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But, you know,
it happens. CBT can be a little bit volatile like that. You mess up at all with your micro. You use those extra mutants.
Everything is so brittle in ZVT on both sides early that really, like, I think out of all the RTS games that have ever existed, ZVT is the one where, like, oh, you can, like, make a few moves, and if your opponent isn't microing against you, you kill them entirely.
Yeah.
Speed, by the way, had a bumpy game against Best, and I worry because I don't feel like Action is very different as far as caliber here. So let's see how he does. The loser of this match is out of the ASL and will go on to fight in that final survival match against Best.
All right. We have Action as the pink Zerg in that bottom right. And Speed up at 12 o'clock as the Terran player. So, you know, as we've mentioned before with this map Ascension, it is basically Blue Storm, the 2-player map, twisted into a 3-player map. And I think that just makes it awesome. I love 3-player maps. I think that they are the most interesting that we get, basically, in Brood War, because you can't really split them. It really kind of automatically makes you fight over that other map in a lot of ways.
Although I do like split map games. Even TBT, I do like that.
I like it too, but the type of action you get in a 3-player map is a very different feel from a 4-player, because like in a 4-player, even if they get like too much of one side, you're like, okay, I can just hunker down on my side. Whereas that never happens in a 3-player map ever. Like,
look at the APM here, man. It's almost to Satan's number up here, 666.
It's holding down some keys,
yeah,
man.
that's
crazy.
like too much.
Yeah.
This is why people start to obsess about their APM. They're like, wow, they're doing 600 things at once. I'm like, not really.
The pros.
I'm like, let me tell you something. He made 5 SCVs.
Yeah, he's made 5 SCVs. He sent them to mine, and he made a depot. Now
he made a rally.
While this is still what he did is still harder than most esports.
Yes,
it is a very small part of actually 600 APM.
600 actions to do.
Yeah.
Dare I say you could do this all with 50 actions a minute.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah, a little
Barracks and gas. Okay, that's cool.
So he's got a tech build. That makes it kind of interesting, and I think that this is not a bad choice in general against Action. Because Action, I don't think he'll open with something like specifically greedy. I think he'll probably play a pretty standard opener here, which means already you're going to be doing all right. Like, that's, in my opinion, if you go for like mech or something, it's the scariest thing that a Zerg can actually do is not like an all-in, but more like greed, like what we saw from JYJ against Best, right? If they just instantly take a third base and they have too many drones, you're like, uh-oh, it's really hard to kill you now. But yeah, having a build like this. Oh, he is actually doing. Oh, it's a little bit of an economic cheese.
Look at this gamery.
3 hatchery before
3
pool.
hatches. This is one of these things where we have the 2 very rare builds interacting, and that always is a treat to cast.
And
good job getting those 2 shots off on the SCV. Any damage the SCV takes when it's on the map is permanent.
So there goes the spawning pool. We actually still have gas mining from speed. That makes I feel very interested in this. So like basically most builds like this is you go factory into your command center, and then you get back on gas and like make whatever else, whether you want to go Goliaths, you want to go into a Wraith, you want to go into, you know, whatever. But here he's showing us that he is planning on staying on one base for a long time. I don't know what it is, but it's a cheese, and we're gonna, you know, you execute a cheese well against Zerg, they're not ready, they're dead.
Yeah, you know, these especially these weirder builds that are much more idea and I think a little bit less about the map itself can be very effective. I mean, even the very, very best pros, they don't always get comfortable immediately on maps.
Yeah.
You know, anybody who's played any StarCraft at all. By the way, these drones are going to. I don't know why I had to send a weird accent when I said that I became French Canadian. I was like, these drones. These drones have done an amazing job because Terran never got to scout anything at all. But the build coming here from Terran is really out there.
Yeah, he's going 2 Port Wraith on 1 base. So I don't know what to think about that, honestly, Tasteless. In the meantime, we do have a Marine and a Vulture coming down right now.
Yeah, is the Sun going to finish? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Pretty much can't do anything with the 1 slow Vulture against the Sunken Colony. You can't really get by. And so it's going to be double Starport Wraith coming out here. Does he get an add-on, though?
Yeah, he will, but you want to get a couple Wraiths first, and then you'll go add-on. But he doesn't even know that it's 3 hatch little and 3 hatch before spawning pool.
Yeah,
there's definitely some questions.
Terran is in a better position now. Is that correct?
Oh, I like Action's position personally.
Oh, Action.
Yeah, nice catch. But okay, so he's actually getting in and seeing 1 port making a Wraith, and with all these SCVs mining gas, I think you probably look at that and say, oh, this definitely could be 2 port, especially when that one pops out that you weren't watching. So yeah, he knows 2 port now. But yeah, no, I like it a little bit more for Action, honestly. It's not like he hasn't played against this before. It's definitely a very off build. It's not a build you see often.
I do want to point out, this is one of the oldest builds.
It's pretty old.
Terran's doing. It was always around. This 2 Port Wraith, and then people thought it was not good, and then you'd see it pop up with Korean pros, and then there was Leda doing it in every game of his entire life, and then
Lomo too.
That's right, Lomo too. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, don't forget Lomo.
And it's again, it's fascinating to see that this can still stick around here, and it still is kind of something a lot of people struggle with. You know, he needs to really target down the workers here.
Yeah, needs to kill all the ones he's damaged as best he can.
Got to be careful about that. You know, you can't just see all the hit point bars on the units. You have to click them down. So if you're not attentive to that, it's a lot more multitasking to try to actually target them all down and get the kills.
So Action right now, he doesn't have a Spire as far as I can tell. I think he has the lair, so he'll get Overlord speed. He has a couple spores, and he has a Hydralisk Den. So I mean, it seems like basically he can't really be killed by this. But what is the follow-up for both sides? Because I could see speed, he could expand, or he could do just like a 3 racks Marine type of bust if his opponent's going Hydra, right? Hydras don't really hold up against Marine Medic all that well.
Yeah.
So it could be something like that.
He's got to be careful. Actually, no, he doesn't. I'm sorry. I thought the bottom of the map was closer to that.
Oh.
Then I was like, these Hydras are just going to come and kill that.
Yeah, man, he can fly away
Still getting a handle on the space of this map and spots like that. But
yeah, me as well.
At this point in time, I wouldn't say that the Wraiths have really done that much.
No, they haven't.
The problem is that obviously you can't just keep going Wraiths forever. You know, eventually you need to get the units that actually matter in this matchup, like Marines. And I do feel like there really isn't a soft spot here in the Zerg's setup.
Yeah,
like
not really.
He's not going to chip away and kill that hatchery over time. You know what I mean? There's not really a big vulnerability. The way the minerals are pointed, both in the main at the expansion, the Wraiths can't really exploit that position and snipe.
Let's see what his micro looks like, because he's starting to get to the number where you can actually start killing Hydras. Like if this was Leda, he'd be wrecking these Hydras right now, and Action might even think about throwing down a 3rd spore. But let's see how good he is at this.
Ooh, misplaced.
Yeah.
You know, one thing with Wraiths, they're the fastest dying unit in the game. Maybe that and the probe. Like, they die so quickly.
Yeah.
It's why they're given Cloak. They do a lot of damage. They're kind of a glass cannon unit, but you got to be careful because, you know, even though they have great range, so they can hit points and pull away. If mismicroed, even though a lot of times these harasses look like Muta harasses, they're not tanky like Mutalisks are. They very much, like a few misclicks and you can lose so many.
Yeah, no, they are like paper airplanes, or
that's what they're called out here in Korea. A lot of times is paper planes.
Yeah, they are very much a tactical unit, and you can micro them very much like Mutas. So let's see what he gets done. I mean, you start getting enough in a clump. The funny thing is, these stacked flying units, the DPS for the area that they are is insanely high, and that's what we see him trying to utilize here.
Should he get a queen and ensnare them and just kill them with his Hydras? Is that good?
I think it can be okay, but yeah, I'm not sure what his plan will be, because this is such a rare strategy. You just don't, you know, there's not like a 100% given way to do it.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about. You got to be so attentive with him.
Loses a couple there very quickly. Siege tanks being made. He does have an additional command center. I think the siege tanks are just defensive here. You can't just attack with like 2 siege tanks and wraiths. Or can you?
Oh, let's find out. I don't think so.
Maybe he feels like the siege tanks can deal some damage to Hydras, but it's like, I think
Hydras are very good against tanks.
Yeah.
They're not.
People wouldn't think that, but they can fight.
You don't ever see these units interact, but just so we can clear that up for you guys, Hydras will beat tanks pretty quickly.
Yeah, you need a lot buffering for tanks. Once things are buffering for the tanks wreck the Hydras, but before that, it's like tanks alone are not, unless you have 1 million of them, obviously. You have 20 tanks, okay, they kill everything. They kill flying units at that point, okay? It's like, no problem.
Kill Guardians, it's insane. So he's sniping these Overlords. Cloak, I think, should have finished researching here.
Did he get Cloak? We haven't seen a single Cloak.
I think he got... Oh, I saw that was blinking.
Okay.
Is there a Wraith energy upgrade?
Yes, there is.
There is, okay.
Yes. Someone got it once. Probably.
Imagine that.
No, you get it in TVT. If it's a super big game. But it's not that good. No one.
Do you know what that upgrade is called?
Woo, tasteless. Take my gamer card. I have no idea what that thing's called.
So embarrassing that you don't know the Wraith, the name for the energy upgrade. I mean,
oh, he's going into mech from here. I actually was not expecting that. I don't think I've ever seen anyone go Wraith into mech. But this is a rush up to Hive from Action. He's going into Defilers immediately. I think he's doing that because it's like, well, you're going Wraiths, so you don't have a Radiate, that's the enemy of the Defiler. But actually, the other enemy of the Defiler is Mass Siege Tank. Because like Siege, like 3 Siege Tanks are the worst thing in the whole world against Defiler, but like 12 is the best thing in the whole world against them.
You know, I don't feel like Speed is going to be in a great position here going into the mech.
Yeah, I'm not digging it.
You know, like if you just told me about this build, I think it's pretty cool, but I'm looking at how Action is handling this, and I just can't imagine. I can't imagine Speed taking the game from here. We don't really see this style of play ever. You know, the Wraith into an intensely turtled mech.
Yeah.
But this would seem to me to grant the Zerg way too much map control. Like, way too much freedom. And, you know, the best Zergs in the world are the ones that if you leave them unattended, they just completely command the map.
Yeah, and I think you're kind of right about that. Like, the only thing I can see for Speed is if he starts putting a lot of Speed Vultures with mines on the map and continues to utilize the Wraiths, that can kind of counter map control a little bit.
You mean these dead Wraiths?
I mean the dead Wraiths.
You mean they're ghosts?
Well, that's what a Wraith is anyways.
Is Speed gonna turn the shower on and then the bathroom mirror is gonna show up with the names of the Wraiths on there as the glass heats up?
Wraith 1, Wraith 2,
yeah,
Wraith
oh my
3.
God.
And Johnny.
Yeah.
All right, here comes some Vultures out over the Lurker. Third base being taken.
Is he going to say the names of the Wraiths 3 times in the dark and they're going to appear?
Oh my gosh. Wraithful Juice, Wraithful Juice, Wraithful Juice.
Beetlejuice is the Wraiths back in the game, only for them to be killed off by 6 Hydras immediately.
All right, another Evo going down. The Vultures trying to find some way to harass here. He uses Dark Storm to stop the Vultures from killing stuff.
Yeah, this is something else you can do against a meching player. Just drop their main.
Ooh, with the Dark Swarm. No. I mean, the Dark Swarm gets it very, very tough to clear out. You got to bring back a bunch of Siege Tanks. He throws out another one.
A Lurker's going to come in here. He can keep doing this, by the way. He can use his 4th base as a launching pad for drops all day.
Now he's trying to lay some offensive mines there. One burrowed Lurker can't be hit by Siege Tanks in under Dark Swarm. They miss. Whereas if there were units standing like on top of it, then he actually could hit the Lurker with the splash itself.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny thing, but yeah, the one Lurker under Dark Storm is the most annoying thing for mech to deal with. All right, scans that one.
Oh! Dude. That was rough.
Yeah.
I don't know how long this game's going to go on, Tastosis. I am...
No, action is...
This is just...
He's in very good shape. He's on 4 bases doing this, but, you know... There's certain redeeming things going on here as well for... Well, not anymore. See that? Notice the one Lurker Defiler drop? It's like, yep.
Name a more iconic duo than that.
Yeah.
Takes out all of these positions here, and the thing is, these units for Zerg are so cheap.
Yeah,
everything's so easy to do.
You can see Action just getting so far ahead now.
Those are the same lings you could have in a 4-pool Artosis. I mean, they're a little bit faster. They're going to have adrenaline, but you get it.
Yeah,
that's it's like 200 minerals. No, that's actually 100 minerals of lings are in my main, destroying everything. Now Mutas come out. GG.
You know,
all right,
an interesting build that Speed brought here, but this is we have a lot of new players in ASL this season, and it's something that we've been talking about, right? Where it's like if you are brand new to ASL, it is so hard to do anything against these pros that have been pros for this long. Action's been a pro for how long now? 12 years, 13 years, something like that. It's crazy. He's not going to die to something like that.
Now, I feel for him.
Yeah,
it's hard. You know, this game's hard, man, and you know it's a lot of pressure to come here. And I actually really appreciate the builds that he brought. There was a lot of thought in it, but Action comes out as the victor, and this means we're going to end on a great note here. It's going to be Action versus Best. Hell yes.
Yeah, that is an insane match that we have coming up.
PvZ here.
Yeah, I was actually kind of hoping we'd see that, but in the winter match, either way, it's going to be fantastic. One of those guys going to get eliminated, unfortunately.
That's right, guys. I believe we're going to be going to a short break. Yeah, that looks like a screen you put up before we go to a break. All right,
I would
guys.
think so.
We will be right back with our final match.
양념 툭툭, 올리브유 또르르. 우와. 그리고 제로. 너무 좋다. 맛은 배로, 칼로리는 제로. 칠성사이다 제로.
성능을 언제 어디서나 가볍게 즐기다. 지포스 GTX 1650 그래픽 최신 인텔 10세대 프로세서 탑재. 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준 LG 울트라 기어. 성능을 언제 어디서나 가볍게 즐기다. 지포스 GTX 1650 그래픽 최신 인텔 10세대 프로세서 탑재. 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준 LG 울트라 기어.
디자인하면서 가장 중요하게 생각했던 부분은 울트라 기어의 차별화된 브랜드 메시지를 잘 나타내는 것입니다. 신과 영웅들의 최강의 무기들을 검토하였습니다. 그중 니케의 승리의 날개를 모티브로 지금의 울트라 기어의 로고가 탄생하게 되었습니다. 울트라 기어의 이니셜인 U와 G를 비상하는 날개의 형상으로 레드 색상을 사용하여 강력한 에너지와 힘을 나타내었습니다. 울트라 기어는 최상의 퍼포먼스로 진정한 게임의 즐거움, 승리의 기쁨을 여러분께 선사할 것입니다.
관리받다. 관리하지 않는 순간에도 관리받다. 14일 동안 정성껏 발효한 브루잉 콤부차로 관리받다. 브루잉 콤부차.
숙취 요즘 누가 저렇게 깨니? 맨날 똑같은 거, 맛없는 거 깨. 이제 탄산으로 깨. 숙취 해소의 새로운 기준 가스강. 환도 역시 가스강이 대세.
You ready to take off? I can't wait for you now that I feel it. I gotta dance to the beat that I'm hearing. You want me to be still, watch the ceiling. You can't stop me, you're ready to take off. I can't wait for you now that I feel it. I gotta dance to the beat that I'm hearing. You want me to be still, watch the ceiling. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. You gotta pull me up, You can't stop me.
Is the mic on? Sorry. let me do a mic test by exhaling through my nose very loudly. Sorry. All right, great opening for our final match.
Dude.
Cute, tasteless, heavy breathing. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to go into the final match here. It's Action versus Best. This is breaking my heart.
I know.
One of these guys is going to get eliminated?
If Best gets eliminated, man, I don't have much hope for Protoss this season. A lot rests on his shoulders.
One of these guys is going out with the trash.
Yeah.
Separate them from the cans and the plastics.
That's right. But are they the organic trash?
They're organic trash for sure.
I don't know why that's so funny.
All Brood War players are organic trash sometimes. This is going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm really excited for this. I will tell you, I'm rooting for Best, and I'm a little bit... I think we need some Protosses to advance. Can we agree that as much as Artosis, you hate Protoss, you want to see some matches against them later on?
Yes, I do. I want Best to win here.
I want Best to win. Yeah, I think Action's
we already have great Zergs going through, so like,
right,
give
guys,
us Best.
Best versus Action, the losers out of the ASL.
Whoever they start on, they're like, no, we got to show the other guy first. Yep. Bottom left, we got
every
Action.
time they do that. That's such a good point. They're like, oh, the camera's in the wrong spot again.
Right, and Best in the bottom right. But yeah, if you look at it already, we have 5 amazing Zergs in the round of 16. We have Larva, Zero, Soma, Effort, Hero. That's 5 of 16 already.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 3 Terrans. In fact, basically the 3 best Terrans that are in the tournament in Light, Rush, and Royal. What do we have for Protoss? Nothing. Jesus, nobody. Stork didn't even make it in the tournament. Is Protoss too weak?
Absolutely.
100%.
Protoss should be able to make their billions without even having a probe there. That would fix this.
Could you imagine?
Like, this is bullshit. I got to get a worker over there to make it. This is already way too hard. It should just appear there like some of these other RTS games. It's like a city builder or whatever. You're just like clicking it on the ground.
That's amazing. I can imagine.
Let me see if I can cannon rush it by like building by just clicking on the map. Like cannons are warping in behind you.
I can see
you're having to play against God right now.
I love the idea.
Yeah.
I can see you just opening Speed Observer every game.
Yeah, right.
Send them out.
That's right.
It's like I see an observer come on my base. I'm like, oh damn! I look in the side. There's already 2 gates there. I'm like, no. Then I see the observer go out towards the left side of my base. I'm like, he's expanding to the top left, man. I know it.
Once he makes one building there, he has vision to make all the rest. It's not fair at all.
Meanwhile, you never lose mining time.
That's great. Yeah.
Wow, that is an idea right there.
I think we are ready for the patch after 23 years. Let's go. So many things in this game would have been patched out immediately with how sensitive game companies are now. Like, all the things that are actually epic about Brood War would just be gone. They'd be like, oh, sorry, we messed that up.
Oh, yeah. 100% they would. Like, yeah, Brood War would be absolutely ruined by game developers nowadays.
No.
They'd look at the Defiler and they'd be like, we're firing whoever had this idea.
I do want to point out, I do believe we can still have good RTSs in the future. I always think of Dark Souls, and that, you know, in Japan, From Software, just, you know, the people there were like, actually, let's just make a really hard game.
Yeah.
Let's just celebrate that it's hard, and not, you know, oh no, but how are all of our players not going to beat the storyline? Did you know that, like, I heard this somewhere, and I believe it's true. 70% of the people that bought Dark Souls 3 didn't beat the first boss.
70% didn't beat the first boss. The first boss was pretty hard.
It was pretty hard.
Yeah.
But
it took me like 3 hours to beat.
The thing is, though, then you beat a game like that, and you actually really feel great.
Yeah.
You know, every step of the way is rewarding, and you're having to apply yourself, and that's what makes Brood War so great here now.
Yeah, yeah. When I finally beat the multiplayer, I'm going to feel very rewarded to finally have done that after 22
You're
years.
Gonna beat that's what ASL is you've won the multiplayer.
Yeah, that's true. That is actually a good way to look at it.
Yeah, that's actually a way that a lot of companies should start thinking about these leagues and why they're valuable. Is that you know someone's actually winning the multiplayer.
Yeah. Imagine if you could make the single player harder than the multiplayer.
Oh,
like it's so hard that literally the world champion can't quite do it.
It's
takes
like
a
playing
few
chess
years
against your phone.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Like, oh man, I don't know. My phone is better at chess than I will ever be. That's too bad. So this time around, I mean, things are looking pretty par for the course here with action.
Oh, we're in a StarCraft game.
Yeah, what?
Okay, well, yeah, what's happening? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, we got a pretty normal layer tech here. Action's done a good job of chasing down the probe. I believe it's just going to be Spire tech here, though. We don't really know what the plans are for the Zerg just yet.
Really
actually,
looks like
he got a Stargate, right? This is a normal game. Okay, so then
I think he did.
Some Protosses have been skipping it, but
or he's about to.
Yeah, here's the Stargate now.
Well, if you see the layer making it that time, you don't make a Stargate. What are you?
Oh, you have to.
Who are you?
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, pretty good. Now, yeah, you see the layer like that, you should get a Stargate. And you should at least have the option to match Mutatech. And here's that Spire coming now. And so we have a very textbook PvZ coming in here. I mean, both sides. These are the builds you want to copy if you want to be a strong ladder player. Obviously, there's so many weird things that can happen in between them, but right now,
yeah,
it's been a very simple. He is getting air weapons, by the way.
I feel like this game so far shows the level of both Action and Best, where it's like they're on elimination right now.
Yeah.
And they're just playing like very standard because they're both really good at it. But what I'm afraid about is when are they going to scout JYJ's command center in the top right, man? Where he's going to get him.
They find out there's a third player in the game, and then he kills both of them. I don't know if I ever told you this, but in my middle school, there was a couple other kids that played StarCraft. This was before I had the kind of internet where you could really play on BattleNet. Like that came a year later or so. But there's this kid that I would sort of hang out with. He was really weird. But you know,
are you talking about me?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
You're the adult I hang out with. It's really weird. But and this kid kept saying he was better at StarCraft than me, and I knew I'm better than this kid. All right. And so we ended up playing a game, and his friend wanted to watch. And this is back in the Stone Age period where people had to like ally somebody and lift off a command center. And so I did that, and then it turns out this guy that he was playing with online, because that's right, I got my internet right after this. He was one of the first people I played. The guy he was playing with in the online match did not lift off his command center, allied with him, and they 2-on-1 beat me, and then he came to school and told everybody that he beat me.
Wow.
And I was like...
But he did beat you, right?
He did, yeah, technically this is true.
Yeah.
I was traumatized by this.
Damn.
It was actually an ultimate betrayal for my middle school self. I couldn't believe it.
Did you continue to hang out with him?
No. I mean, you know, I'm from Kansas, Tastosis. There's not a lot of people to hang out with, but you know, I wasn't able to fully cut him off until adulthood. But
yeah.
So we've got
that is dirty though. I feel for you,
scumbag. Yeah. So we've got Corsairs banking up. Now he did put the cybernetics core in the very corner here. He is getting air weapons, and he's got 4 gates up. So after this DT probably doesn't do anything, he's going to dive in with these zealots and start to target down the overlords. And this is, when done correctly, such a strong attack. Because, you know, the Hydras, if they target the Corsairs, which they kind of need to, they're going to get wrecked by the zealots. If you supply block the Zerg that heavily, it really allows you to boost ahead.
Now, is this going to...
Maybe
like actually,
do it.
Yeah, I was going to say there hasn't been enough. It feels like there hasn't been enough action on the map and I don't mean the player action, but like in general, the game has been so slow that it feels hard for me to believe that Best could suddenly do something that catches action off guard in any way. You know, it's just kind of been like a slow build up. I feel like action's going to be ready.
I mean, action's playing very well. Best is as well. I mean, we're going to get into a very developed mid-game, probably into late game here for this PvZ. We're still waiting for Zealot speed to finish. It should be done, I think. But that's when the Protoss is probably going to try to look for a fight somewhere. So we've got Overlords bunched up at the natural, and there should be 2 or 3 over there at the third base as well.
Yeah, and it looks like just such a healthy amount of drones, good amount of hatcheries here. Action's macro is definitely going to hit.
He can actually make a lurker eggs here to block this if he wants to. So he's going to go around.
Or maybe not. Turns back around towards the natural right now.
It's not a particularly turtled spot over there. Okay, so here comes that attack I was talking about here. And pretty good read here by Best, because it seems like Action just barely has enough. And so he's going to back up. He did see the third hatchery at I'm saying this wrong. The 3 hatcheries over at the third base.
Yeah, so that is like 6 hatch pumping hydras right now. He does have some high
I think
templars.
it's 5 hatch.
Oh, does he not have 2 at the natural?
Well, he does have 2 at the natural, and then you're right. I'm sorry, that's 6 hatch. What are we talking about? Okay. So yeah, this is going to be a Zerg that's looking for a fight.
But high templars being made, and Best has not wasted a single unit so far.
That's right.
And I feel like that's really important. A lot of times when I see people die to the 6 hatch, they actually lost little chunks trying to do damage where they couldn't.
Yeah, he's being very patient.
Yeah.
I think he's kept the Zerg pretty honest. Oh, this is a great catch over here.
Ooh, nice juking and chiving right there. He does miss a few shots and backs off with those Corsairs. Couple lurkers coming down to start a containment. Spread themselves a Psy Storm apart. That is the lurker equivalent of social distancing. One Psy Storm apart from each other.
Yeah, you don't want to have them that close because they can really get abused by Psy Storm. He's going to be going for this Forge. Now, +1 attack is done. That's probably the armor upgrade that's being upgraded right now.
That actually should be done pretty soon, too, I think. So maybe he's able to finish that.
And now Zerg's going to take a pretty good 4th base position over here now. Now, with the Overlord speed done, I do want to point out that you got to be thinking about drops as a possibility as a Protoss here.
But what about as a possibility for a Zerg? Because he just picked up a DT into that shuttle.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a great spot to do it. And if the main is ever pointed towards you like this is always a good idea. A lot of times... Now, let's see. Is there an Overlord or a Spore or something? Okay, he's so
2
good.
Overlords and a million Hydras here.
Yeah. He's just ready for everything. So he should just try to hide this if he can. But even at top level play, sometimes we just see a DT get in there and kill stuff. StarCraft 1 DTs are funny because they don't die like StarCraft 2 DTs like immediately do. And so even if they're spotted, if you're just good at targeting stuff, you're going to get a lot of kills.
Yeah.
And of course they one-shot drones, which is extremely strong.
Well, right now, Tastosis, I'm looking at this, and it feels like action has been so smooth. Best has looked over and over and over for a way in. Hasn't found that yet.
Well, I think we're going to see the push come out now.
But it's uphill against lurkers. That always scares me.
It's going to be tough, but he's got a good spread of Dragoons. He's got the Templars. I mean, this isn't impossible. It's going to be tough.
A decent dodge right there. Does get down some good Psy Storms, though, starting to break up.
Yeah, he's got a few more Storms available. One of those Templars is picked off. He actually runs through with the Zealots. This is one of the best busts I have ever seen in a PvZ. He made this look so easily.
Yeah.
So easy. This is actually pretty hard to do. But Zerg is still going to have a lot. He's going to have to go back and macro in a second here at his gate. So he's going to have to be really on top of what he's doing. The reinforcements are coming now. The lurkers that were covering the 3rd base have been rotated back over here towards the 4th. So Zerg is still okay right now.
Yeah, it seemed like he was doing a pretty good job breaking him, but did not break him all the way. And now Action just going to kind of remake that, but Best lost a lot of High Templars overall. And his 3rd base is a mineral only, so it's not like he has that extra gas income.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to use the minerals from that 3rd base to just take probably the space down here.
That one is that one better than like 3 o'clock?
I mean, it's. I think they're both fine, to be honest with you. I wouldn't say one is dramatically better than the other. First of all, taking this one down here at the bottom does stop the Zerg from doing that, which can happen, and keeps Zerg trying to reach out to the top. But I think also you can kind of cover this with your push.
Oh, that makes sense.
You don't need like.
I like it.
If you took the center right one, you're going to need like 6 cannons there, and you might have to put a Templar back there, but.
It makes perfect sense.
It's kind of like in a lot of these StarCraft 2 games where like the Terran is expanding in the push. There's like a base somewhere in between the push so that this area is always safe. It's not really a point on the map that you can exploit and punish.
Yeah, and if your push gets pushed all the way back to your natural, you're probably dead anyways. All right, this is a lot of Hydra Lurker coming out right now. He is making a few cannons down here at 6 o'clock for his 4th base. It is very important that he gets that additional gas up. A few Lings being sent down, but he does have a few Zealots there to stop them.
I think he'll be fine on that front. Now, you can get down here into this little valley, and you can storm from the low ground like this.
Oh, yes. I know all about this, Tasteless.
Yeah.
This happens to me several times every day with my SCVs.
Oh, yeah. It's a really good spot. And you're not required to actually kill the base to still storm workers. So it's a very good spot for Protoss to try to build up tension. and pressure in this location. And now the 4th base has been taken here for Protoss, and 4 bases is enough for Protoss.
Can definitely max out with that, right?
Yeah, and you want to try to look for fights, and I think this is the wise decision as the 4th base is taken. He did attempt to storm over there, but I think in reality what you want to do is start looking for control at the very top. You're going to have cannons at your other bases. You're going to have other units being macroed out, but it seems like Action is playing a pretty smart game. He wants to try to run up the ramp into this main and seal off a base.
Ooh, he actually snaps that drone's neck, so he can't get it up there. Yeah, he's targeted with the DT. That was really cute. But very nice play. So you kind of let them have their 4 bases, right? And
in this moment, yeah.
Play containment for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think Best, first of all, did a good initial break. Action defended pretty well. And then Best didn't overextend into the push. You know, he didn't overcommit into it, which happens to a lot of pros, where they just end up getting chewed up by lurkers and hydras. So that little tactical play to kill the drone is huge. He did not stop Action from controlling the upper left main, but there is no production up there yet. He might, I don't know if he has drop, but he might have to get drop and put a drone in there and like ferry it up that way.
That would be a wild way to try to take it.
And Best really isn't missing a step here. He's now going to take this other base, and with the map control and actually that many zealots there. I mean, lings are usually what you send there to kill that. That's enough zealots. You just aren't going to die at anything. He's going to put a little bit more pressure on here as he's taking that 5th. I don't think he's expecting to push in and win so much as he is to try to keep the Zerg fighting and defending. You are seeing how bad Dragoons are on low ground.
Yeah,
a lot of their shots just don't connect, especially compared to lurkers.
Can't believe that Defiler did not go down, but he does see Defilers out, and that's actually what Action is really known for in this matchup.
Right.
Well, honestly, in Zerg vs. Terran as well, he's super, super good when he gets to Defiler. Like, he will grind you down with Plague and Darkstorm.
Right.
So, could be a little bit scary. Does Best want to, like, change his unit comp a little bit now? Less Dragoon heavy, perhaps?
I think you still need about 12 Dragoons in any game. He's got a great attack coming in here now.
God.
These lings, I was getting worried because I only saw Dragoons there for so long. He does win this fight. Not bad, for sure.
But those cracklings are looking so scary.
Yeah. The thing with PvZ is even when Defilers are out, you can't abandon Dragoons fully. They just... It's so weird. You would think that they would become completely useless, but they're just good if you can pull them out of the Dark Swarm, and they fill in really nicely with everything else. But this is Best playing, I think, one of the better control PvZs on a map like Polypoid. I mean, this map has so many bases, right?
Yeah, it really does.
But he's basically got different sets of units all over the place. Oh, there's that.
Did you see it juke out of the storm?
Yeah, yeah.
And he tried to storm it, but it got away.
Yeah,
it only took 13 damage. I love it.
So
the juking of the drone. What an interesting little mini game that we've had here.
Yeah.
Where it's like Action's having a hard time getting a drone up to the area he needs an expansion. And Best is even trying to size storm the drone. It doesn't work.
And now we're getting to the speed shuttle game. Did he see that?
I think so.
I think he did, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But the speed shuttle play is great because the main is always a weak point here. Okay, he gets one. They're underneath the portraits. So I don't know what's in there. All right. First thing he might want to do is go for the Spire. But yeah, when you start to get speed shuttles like this, you can just dump units over here into the main, and it's extremely difficult to manage for the Zerg, unless you're going to make a bunch of defense and just have lurkers there, in which case you don't have stuff elsewhere. And I mean, this is a great drop here.
Best, like, I love that he's dropping in there with such a difficult to deal with group of units, but then also attacking up here. And look, Action actually didn't go up to the high ground to make that tree, just instantly made one. And now suddenly Best is going to break through here and force a cancel.
Yeah, this is pretty insane. Best has basically played what all Protosses try to do in PvZ, but find so hard to pull off. I mean, this is a very straightforward on every level, including closing it with these storm drops here.
Oh, man.
You know, he went into the shuttle play very nicely. He's not broken this position. He's
I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to, but now with the lurkers and all these cracklings in there, no way. Those lings are, I mean, those zealots that are up near here are going to get slaughtered.
The thing is, he's really making Zerg work. Now, if Zerg gets this area in the top left and starts to mine from it, oh, this is going to be nasty. Get ready. Hurdle.
Oh, he sees it. He sees it. Oh, the split.
Oh, really good storm placement there. He knows that they're going to all be through there. Oh, this is dirty.
Yeah, that's a cute move right there, waiting for those drones to come back. We'll see if they end up doing so.
Oh, he spots it. Good catch here. Goes for the the shuttle first and then gets the Templar shortly after that.
You do what you can. All right, so Action is finally getting some hatches up.
Now, Action has been playing from behind for a little bit, but I think he's going to start to stabilize here.
Okay.
It does seem like, and it's hard. It's hard to hit all these locations with the speed shuttles, and you have to really do a lot of the manual micro. I mean, dropping to the main, you can kind of throw that in there and then go do other stuff, and it's going to serve its purpose. But Action getting this base up here is a pretty big deal because, as strange as it is to say on this map, we are running out of bases and positions here. Protoss can try to take the upper right. It's not impossible to hold. It's not easy, for sure. But I would imagine that what Best wants to do is actually push the upper left.
Okay. Like, I'm afraid of him getting flanked and stuff up there.
Yeah.
I mean, are you looking for a specific comp? Are you adding a bunch of Reavers in? Are you just looking for lots of Psystorms and some Archons? Like, what is it?
If you go for Reavers, you are, to some extent, sometimes resigning yourself to a turtle game. And it's not bad. Not bad at all. You can have Reavers that you try to push with in these situations, but it does tax the Protoss a little bit. We have only seen shuttles here. I know that he has the tech for Reaver because shuttle speed's been upgraded. But
yeah, he has a couple Reavers.
Okay, here we go. I was waiting for this moment. Now, there's also the chance that he can try to push this area, which actually is a little bit more pushable despite it being on high ground. And if he pushes this and breaks this, he can then push into the main. This is not an important base anymore, so much as it is a foothold and like a kind of a fortress wall to defend the main tech, because that would also be a way to screw the Zerg over, is to basically get rid of a lot of these hatcheries here, all this tech. But again, we don't often see Protosses break this position. It is as far as the angles go, just better for Zerg.
Well, we saw right there, he used a lot of Psystorms. The Plagues were coming out, the Dark Storms were coming down. He wasn't able to break through there yet. That's kind of the most fortified position. But
it's hard because, when Protoss push, they don't really have like a siege weapon. Like, Reavers aren't good at firing uphill anyways.
Yeah.
And so you have to...
Reavers are not a siege weapon. People might think so because they're the longest ranged ground unit that Protoss has, but they're really, I almost feel like the Dragoon is as much a siege unit.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it. I mean, Reavers don't fire a lot of times. They're great for harass, and they're very good at taking, fights where there's a lot of melee units, and especially with the shuttle, they can be microed so well, but here we go. Oh, weird.
Okay, well, actually catches some there, and going to get a few of these units coming down the ramp. Another one on those drones right there. So making the best of a bad situation. Best supply continuing to go up. 180 against 155 here from Action.
Yeah.
But Action, I mean, he's getting more and more drones up at that top left area. Best does take the top right. But, it feels like Action is getting more efficient as time goes on between the Defilers, the Cracklings, and the good positioning.
Oh, yeah.
Is there more of a clock on Protoss or on Zerg here? It feels like on Protoss.
I mean, it seemed like Zerg was... there was a clock on Zerg here, but now that he's got this base, we're in for a much longer game.
I gotta say, this is the best game of this season so far.
For sure. This is a great PvZ here.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this was... great storms there. Unreal. And that's all going to be cleaned up, no problem.
Oh my God, just so efficient here. Ling's running in as well. This is all buffering here for those Reavers. But in the meantime, a nice drop at that top right. This base is gone 100%.
Yeah, he's going to be able to push in here, and this is big. He's going to get 3 hatcheries. I mean, the minerals here aren't a lot, but, Zerg doesn't want to lose any position right now. Now, the Zerg is not going to be able to kill the cannons in the gate, so that expansion can be remade, but coming through here is a pretty big deal. Zerg is now going to take all 3 bases in the upper left quadrant. Oh, this is so good. Oh, my God.
The Reaver drop.
Yeah, he's doing
good targeting.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's doing a great job targeting. Reavers are definitely units you get way more out of if you're actually controlling them. And here's what he's going to do. He's going to push around here.
Oh, my God. And well, a lot of the units that were down there came for a flank to try to stop him from killing 9 o'clock.
Okay, so he's gotten the Lurker. Now, I think Protoss has to be careful because sometimes you'll see moments like this where it seems like they've broken them, but in reality, this Zerg is extremely well-funded.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Zealot flank comes in over here on the side. I think he's going to actually break this position.
It feels like it.
It's not always the way you want to play the game, but if you can actually break in here and kill all these other hatches and their main and their tech, it's a pretty heavy reset. That being said, 6 o'clock's going to mine out. He needs to kill this Nidus, by the way.
That was an insane Scarab we just saw, killing so many Lings. And finally, it looks like the Nidus will be targeted down by this Archon. It goes down. And this feels like Best might have broken his back.
I think he's done it. This is a pretty insane game right now. The shuttle is going to go down, but I think that we're past the point of if you kill the Reaver, you can win the game.
Yeah.
And look, he's going to be able to run in here. Are there no Overlords here?
Oh, there might not be.
StarCraft, the highest level, is so funny. Even in moments like this, there's still some chance that they can't see everything.
Yeah. All right, Overlord comes down, so he will be able to clear the DPs.
Catch.
Very, very important.
You would kill all of those drones, but yeah, I think the push in here to the bottom left is going to be very doable. Now, Protoss will mine out. That's coming. Not at this space, because apparently there's no probes. I think there were lurker drops.
There was a lurker drop there, yeah.
But, oh my gosh, look at this. He's not going to push the natural.
Yeah, I guess he's done enough there.
Yeah, he just taps out.
GFG.
Action didn't have enough.
No, he did not. Oh my God! And Best eliminates Action in the best game of the tournament so far.
So far, man.
Absolutely monstrous play. Action got to do everything he wanted early on.
I mean, that was, I think, one of the best control PvZ games where they're both macroing and playing their roles. I think it was one of the best ones I've seen in a long time. And I think Best had this vicious harass with the shuttles. I think getting that drone was a butterfly effect moment. The drone that was going to the top left.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see an exhausted Action over here now where maybe something could have been done differently. He almost had it. And I think also even that moment at the end when he said, wait a minute, there's only like 3 lurkers here at the natural. I don't even need to go for the main now. It's actually better for me to try to attack into the top left. Action was not able to buy time. And again, man, I'm telling you, we got to watch out for Best as somebody who might win this ASL. He's looking extremely strong.
Oh, yeah.
And that PvZ, everybody from low to high levels has tried to play a game roughly like that. The ideas that were used there are nothing new. He just played an extremely solid macro control game.
ASL 시즌 11 24강 C조 경기 모두 함께 하셨습니다. 두 번째 진출자는 도재욱 선수인데요. 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
와, 사실 인터뷰할 때 경기 전에 좀 자신 없어하는 모습 때문에 많은 분들이 걱정하셨을 것 같은데 최종전을 통해서 이렇게 멋진 모습으로 또 진출에 성공하셨습니다. 지난 시즌에 이어 다시 한번 16강에 진출하신 소감 어떠신지 들어볼까요?
일단은 24강이 솔직히 제가 조 편성을 처음 봤을 때 뭔가 좀 강한 편이라고 생각을 했고, 그리고 이번에 제가 약간 좀 제 실력적으로 자신이 없었어요. 그래서 쉽지 않겠구나라고 생각했는데 실제로 쉽지 않았어서 정말 일단 진출한 것이 다행이고 16강 때까지 최대한 빨리 폼 끌어올려서 좋은 모습 보여드려야 될 것 같아요.
이영홍 선수와의 첫 번째 경기는 굉장히 스무스하게 승리를 거두셨는데 아무래도 좀 정영재 선수와의 승자전이 마음에 남으실 것 같아요.
네네네.
3마인 트리플에 마인 트리플에 좀 당하셨는데 그때 경기를 복귀해 보면 좀 어떤 느낌이 드시나요?
저번 시즌 태경이를 괜히 잡은 게 아니구나라는 생각이 했었고 제가 지면서 일단 영재가 올라가게 되는데 제가 영재랑 되게 친해요. 그래서 이제 꼭 누가 최종전 가든 올라가다고 얘기했었는데 그렇게 영재 좀 덜 미안하게 이겨서 다행인 것 같아요.
김성대 선수와의 최종전에서는 도재욱 선수가 왜 도재욱 선수인지 제대로 보여준 경기가 아니었나 싶습니다. 다크로 견제하고 드랍하고 동시에 생산과 공격까지 정말 할 수 있는 멀티플레이는 다 하신 것 같은데 언제쯤 승기를 잡으셨다고 생각하셨나요?
9시 쪽 파고들 때까지만 해도 1시에 드랍이 와서 멀티 교환이 돼가지고 약간 좀 잘못하면 지겠다 생각했어요. 왜냐면 11시 쪽을 3개를 다 성대가 먹은 상태여서 근데 이제 제가 9시 밀고 미나 멀티 쪽을 가는데 성대가 병력이 없는 거예요. 그래서 이거 이겼다라고 그때 생각을 했어요.
이렇게 좀 마음을 쓸어내릴 만한 16강 진출이 도재욱 선수에게 되지 않았나 하는 생각이 드는데 이제부터 또 달리셔야죠.
일단은 제가 요즘에 너무 성적이 안 좋아서 이제 많은 팬분들 걱정하는데 그 응원하는 팬분들은 오히려 대회전에 못하면은 대회 때 잘할 수 있지 않겠느냐고 말을 해주셔서 그런 생각을 하면은 대회 때 더 잘할 수도 있지 않을까 하는 약간의 기대는 하고 있어요.
네, 다시 한번 김성대 선수를 상대로 승리를 거두면서 상대 전적에 좀 더 벌어졌어요. 16강에선 좀 어떤 종족과 같은 조가 되고 싶으세요?
일단은 맵이 전반적으로 타종족전이 좀 힘들더라고요. 그래서 그렇다고 또 제가 풋풋 좀 잘하는 것도 아니거든요. 그래서 그냥 상대가 오다가 사고 나서 안 왔으면 좋겠어요. 부전승 올라갔으면 좋겠어요.
24강을 통해서 16강에 진출한 첫 프로토스 선수입니다.
네.
좀 사명감과 또 팬들에게 좀 보여줘야겠다는 의지도 가지셔야 될 것 같은데요.
네. 이제 제가 처음으로 토스가 진출했는데 뭐 뒤에 이제 짱짱한 토스들 많거든요. 그래서 이제 뭐 그런 토스에 진출할 거라고 생각을 하고 제가 처음으로 올라갔으니까 신중각도 한번 잘해보도록 해보겠습니다.
네, 다시 한번 진출 축하드리고요. 인터뷰 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 24강 두 번째로 진출한 도재욱 선수와 함께 인터뷰 나눠봤습니다.
I'm so excited that Best moves on. And I'm curious to see how far this guy can go. Unfortunately, my Zerg fellow friends action is gone. He's out.
Yeah, it's too bad because I think he is not a round of 24 level player. He's at least a round of 16 level player at every point.
Yeah, for
but
sure,
you know what? He lost some games. So
this is all
There you go.
JYJ's fault.
Yeah.
JYJ surprisingly gets out first, and then it was Best squeaking by there at the end. And again, the best match of the tournament so far.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That really was a great moment to show like exactly what a PvZ looks like on the standard levels.
If you can do it, that's the hard thing, right? Someone actually getting that through. And here's what we have so far, guys. Best is the first Protoss to make it into the round of 16. For Terran, we did have Rush, who won Flash's spot already, and then 3 qualifiers, and then, of course, 3 seeds from the top 4 of last season were Zerg, with both Hero and Effort getting through in Group A. So, so far, we need some more Protosses. And you know what? Tomorrow might be the day.
The day!
Well, I say tomorrow, but Group D, guys, Snow, Scan, Shuttle, Sock. And honestly, I mean, the two favorites should be Snow and Shuttle. I mean, Scan and Sock are fantastic.
Listen, man, the humans are going down and the aliens are going to win.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
It's going to be War of the Worlds, except the aliens got vaccinated against whatever they got sick from in that movie. What a bad ending to that. They're like, oh, they got sick. It's like, they got sick? That's the end?
I would just tell them to stay in their little pod things. We'll go get water from the asteroids now. But yeah, this is going to be fantastic. Can't wait to be casting Scan in his first ASL as well. Yeah, it's going to be great, man. But I think Snow is going to murder that group.
I think Snow is going to dunk, but I'm excited to see Scan. I am curious how Sack's going to perform.
Sock is always pretty good.
Yeah, I would like to see a PvP as well with Shuttle and Snow. I would welcome that. That should be a great best of one.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Actually, I think the map pool is going to give us some pretty reasonable PvPs as well.
I think so.
Yeah, sometimes we have map pools where it's like, oh no, Gladiator. Oh no, I don't want any PvPs here. Gladiator, no. That's the worst map for PvP ever made.
Yeah, it's you're very limited in your choices a lot of times on that map, but we'll see. We'll see what we get here.
I think we probably will see them play, to be honest. Like they have to be the favorites in those two matches.
I would assume they would both win their matches, and then you know, we get the TVT and the losers, and mostly it's going to be PVTs though. I think.
Yeah, probably. And I mean, Snow you have to take as a favorite, and then Shuttle. Shuttle is actually one of my guys where it's kind of like very quietly. I think he's one of the stronger players. He's kind of like an action where you're like, oh no, he's one of the top pros.
No, he's one of the top Protosses, but I think he's just not high up enough in rank of popularity where we're talking about him all the time. But he's actually very funny on his stream. He's got a lot of great ideas. He's been extremely good at best of ones in ASL before.
He's the champion of season 1.
That's right. Don't forget about that. When his ID was Eyewater. Worst ID ever. I think he wanted it to be Tier.
Maybe.
But no.
Eyewater. Well, that was so funny because he was like, yeah, it's Eyewater. I want to be called Eyewater. Yeah. And then immediately he used the Shuttle ID in game. And it was like,
who's your inspiration for that ID? Was it Hope Torture?
But yeah. No, I think he's a fantastic Protoss player. So I'm excited. I actually really want him to get through.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Well, also, we don't really have a lot of Protosses. We do want to kind of get a range of the matchups here.
Absolutely.
But the ASL is sizing up to look pretty good, and I look forward to doing Day 4, Group D.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. And guys, thank you for watching us. Thank you for supporting us on the Patreon. If you'd like to support the ASL English cast, check it out at patreon.com/ASL English. We have a lot of stuff going up on there, and we got planning. We have some stuff in the works.
We can't say anything just yet because we don't have confirmation yet, but we do have other stuff StarCraft related we want to do with that. Of course, our paid gig for doing this show live was canceled, so now we're relying on community support. So you guys are awesome. We really appreciate it, and it's good that we're still doing ASL.
Absolutely,
thank God. That meeting was a bummer. It was a long, awkward pause, and they told us that we weren't doing it anymore. So it was like
our faces turned red.
Yeah,
they handed us tissues.
The masks were hiding our sadness pretty well. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for Group C. Good luck to Best as he moves on to the round of 16. We'll see you guys in Group D as we still move through the round of 24 of the ASL.